Hi everyone, this is Eco Builder. I hope I find you well. Let us begin.
I was 5 and he was.
That wasn't supposed to be at 1.5 speed up, my bad. Hey, that's what you get. All right. So we are going to talk about Kareem today, updates. I hope you have been following the story. I've got a lot of excitement towards it because it deals with crypto and real life authoritarian statism. And so let me bring up the other portion of my screen. Deals with our community. Kareem is a guy that's been residing in the United States, and he is a heavy hex holder or a heavy hex staker, and he has been a spokesperson for our Hexagon community. We are involved in hex.com, hex crypto token, where you can stake it and earn interest. This is Kareem here. This is his Twitter account. He recently retweeted him and his buddy whenever he was hanging out with his friend. And so he on stream calls this guy his best friend. This is Yoon Anderson, who is the spokesperson for his fundraiser in order to get lawyer and bail where he's located, and also some funds to live in the time period before his trial. And here we have another Hexagon who has helped Kareem out by talking about his situation. So Kareem retweeted both of these things. He spent very little time on social media since he's been locked up. So I guess supposedly what happens is the lawyer visits and has access to your phone. And so you have a few hours on your phone. Kareem flew into Turks and Caicos islands on the other side of the Bahamas from Miami. So he flew out of Miami and he arrived in a place that kind of looks like this. He might have actually been in this parking lot at one point. I got this off Google Earth or Google Photos, and it's interesting that there's some bags just sitting over here. So if you want some sort of like context imagery, I just aesthetics, I just threw this in here. So the idea or the story that we're told is that Kareem had a box of bullets in his luggage, or in the luggage that was in his possession, and maybe it was his friend's luggage. So here in the States, that's not illegal, but whenever he flew into Turks and Caicos, that is illegal. And a lot of American citizens have gotten into this situation lately because they've increased the authoritarian um, laws there in this Turks and Caicos, um, which is a commonwealth of the British Crown. And so this has happened to the story continues to repeat, is what I'm trying to say. Now, Kareem is not a citizen of the United States. He has a Miami's driver's license, and he is from the Central Republic of Africa, which is in the exact center of Africa. This is, I think, possibly where they're holding him right now. They're on the island. So he's in a situation that is aesthetically similar to this. Now, back here in the States, Yoon Anderson has been telling his story and communicating with him daily. And so that's quite interesting. Here is Yoon with the founder of Hex Token, Richard Hart. If you don't know who Richard Hart is, please get to know him. He is a teacher of cryptocurrency and a founder of multiple things. And he is leading a revolution on finance. And a lot of us are here because of that man, who is born in Florida area, was raised in Florida, and now lives in Europe. And that's, yeah. So let's see, the latest, if you haven't checked out my last videos, please do that. I've now created a playlist that's called Prison in Paradise. And so I'm linking all of the videos to each other so that they're easy to find and maybe easy to run across in the future, whenever it is that we have a full story, a full understanding of what's going on. Really quick, I've got some notes to thank everybody for getting me over the 500 subscribers. That's really awesome for a small channel and a single mind like myself and an introvert. I do appreciate that. I also found out recently, while I've been wallet digging, that in our system of staking Hex, you can become a dolphin at 920 T-shares these days. Back in the day, when this whole Hex system first started, it was 1,000 that you had to have in order to be a dolphin. So it's gone down to 920. Imagine what's going to happen in the future. Hex has been around for a little bit over 4.5 years. And we've gotten a lot of attention, and with that, we get a lot of hate. Hex Lost in Asia, welcome to the live stream, and thanks for the comment. I will be around because I am a staker. He says, keep up, dude. I like many people have made this my chosen 401k situation. You know, when I quit corporate world, I took my 401k. I didn't want to invest in the things any longer that those people force you to. And I chose to diversify into precious metals because I thought that financial collapse or something weird was going to happen. Weird, like what's now more and more taking place, and more and more people are able to see it now. And then whenever Bitcoin, like I didn't pay attention to Bitcoin, and I was also told by a mentor of mine, an online mentor, that not to get involved in Bitcoin. But whenever it went to 20K, I couldn't ignore it. I wanted to figure out, could I scheme this to become more wealthy and more free? And then immediately I was lucky enough to run across a Richard Hart video, and he said that Bitcoin was dead. No one else at that time was saying that. And whenever it is that you live a life like I do, where I'm always searching for new information and answers, you listen to people who have juxtaposition views, and you want to know, like, why is it that they think that way? So that's when I started following Richard, and I got into Hex immediately whenever it came out, and I've done very well in it. So yeah, I'll be here for, I'm still, every 6 months I come up to a stake and I restake it for the full 15 years. So I will be around. All right. So to Yoon's latest tweet talking about what has happened with Kareem and how everything's gone, he says, big update. A very special Hexkin just sent 25,000 in eDAI. That's Ethereum DAI to the Dream account, which is under Kareem's control from jail, which is kind of interesting and questionable. Let's see. This will be enough to post bail, he says. So plus what has already been fundraised, which was something like $17,000 worth of Ethereum, that plus this is enough to get bail. Now, he says, thank you for all pitching in. The fight isn't 100% over yet. Um, it's great to get him out of his hellhole. Special thanks to all those who stepped up, and great work for all of those who were able to afford it and reposting and everything. Every action counts. More updates to follow. And then he says down here at the bottom, expect him to be on stream soon, which I'm really looking forward to. So how fast will he be on stream? I don't know. I have no idea. Like, it would be great if immediately he gets on stream within a day. That would be wonderful. So after posting this, after reading this, I have questions. What paperwork are you able to show us, or screenshots? Like, I noticed that you don't have an image here. You didn't show us the table like you used to show us of the fundraising effort, the progression bar. And then also, what was bail? Like, what was announced as the amount that was needed for bail? We never heard that amount. And we also don't know, has he been bailed out? He has enough for bail, but has it actually been used? And so some people that are in the comments after this, this guy's congratulatory and thankful that the community is able to do that sort of thing. Yoon says that he's going to make sure that Kareem pays everybody back and stays honorable. And then these two guys, this Rob Theta and Nomad H, they're both very negative. Rob H wants to know, like, why is it that a rich guy, the richest man in Hex, needed a SAC fund in order to get out of jail? And Yoon explains to him that he did all he could with the T-shares that he has. You know, he unstaked the one closest to him on the Dream account, and then he's holding on to the other ones for the long term of the stake. So Rob Theta says, okay, so Anderson says, if you have any questions, just ask. And then Rob's like, right. So you're fronting with the proposition that the man who put 1 million into Hex movie and rides Lamborghinis, has slick condos, and wears $10,000 outfits was unable to post bail for himself. You're just plain dumb coming with that story. Now, Yoon then later says, as far as that movie, he had nothing to do with it. He doesn't ride a Lamborghini. It was just rented. And then he says, what condo? Which is interesting. I really don't know where Kareem exactly lives. I thought it was an apartment in Miami. And his ride was a Tesla, by the way. And $10,000 outfits. Shoot, I don't know how much his clothes cost. But he basically, like, dismisses him. And then the guy comes back again. And then down here is Toby, who actually did pay for the movie. And he's like, Kareem did not pay for any of the movie. And then he explains He explains, but if you were years out like he is with the stakes, then if you were to unstake, then you would lose. You haven't yet followed through with 50% of your stake waiting time period. So you would then nullify the stake, and it would basically nuke it. If you're not familiar with hex staking, I've explained the situation that's going on in the previous videos. And I also wanted to go over this other guy who Yoon says that you're probably drunk and just shut up. So this guy says, so he sent himself money from my Anon wallet. Gotta be a fucking retard not to see it. Scammers POS. Just at one point he just says, you're drunk. Right here. Yoon says, oh no, he says you don't think. He said you're drunk at one point. But Yoon says, I pledge that Kareem is going to pay all this stuff back. So he's still getting a little bit of hate, but it's not as bad as it was. A lot of people have just calmed down. But this is good news that things are going forward, that he received the money. Now, where did he receive the money from? Let's go look at the wallet. The Dream Account wallet now has a balance of $25,512 worth. It previously had 17,000 or something like that. But what's happened is it's increased. It went down to zero basically, and then it went back up to the current price with this donation right here that came from this wallet. And we'll go look at that wallet here in a second. But I want to show you that this transaction right here is the one that has 5.5 ETH going out, which is worth 13,600. So that's that plus, because the market went down a little bit, so our numbers are a little bit off with how much was donated at the time it was donated, and then it slumped a little bit because of the price of ETH. So that plus some of these other transactions that were sent out, so this 1,300 made up that 17,000 that I was talking about. So right before this 25,000 came into this wallet, the price had gone to zero inside the wallet. And then whenever it goes to zero, then it's transferred out into a wallet that's kind of like a intermediate wallet that then brings it into the real world and makes payments. The real world. I need to stop saying that. The traditional world, and interacts with US dollars at a bank. So here in a little bit, we're going to follow who is this guy who is nice enough to give 25,000 DAI on the Pulse Chain blockchain. It says the Pulse Chain blockchain on this one, but yet in Yoon's tweet, he said eDAI. So maybe it was wrapped eDAI. But I was trying to figure out, like, how do we know how much was available or how much bail was? And this is where I found it out. Maddie did a short stream last night. It's now the morning over here. And Maddie is in in his DMs with Yoon and wanting to talk about Kareem's situation and give up-to-date information in order to enlighten his audience and let everybody know what's up. So Maddie does this short little bit.
I think there's in general, I was hoping to have an update on Kareem's bail. However, I haven't heard back yet, and so we're gonna cover that the next time we can. We were supposed to hear today, and we didn't. Oh wait, here I'm checking my messages now. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I have a message here from Yoon Anderson that came in 1 minute ago, and it says that Kareem needs $35,000 for his bail, and Yoon is putting together a game plan, and he's going to post about it here soon. So I already have the address linked in the description below. This is something that not everybody should feel like they have to contribute to, but there were certainly a lot of people who cashed out at the top of Hex, and Kareem was staking long term. And
all right, so that's how I know $35,000 for bail. And then so what happened was right after this,
I think the community has already
Maddie,
thought about it enough, but
right after this, Maddie goes and looks at how much was available inside of the account and how much was needed. And so it was something like $20,020 or something was needed in order to meet that amount of money. And then so somebody just gave 25,000, and so now he'll have the leftover amount to live his life a little bit whenever he does get bailed out. HOA's in the comments asking me if I'm sleeping or early riser. Today, I'm an early riser. I could barely keep my eyes open past 10 o'clock last night. So whenever it is that we try to figure out, okay, how wealthy is this guy that gave 25,000? Then we can follow his address. Where is it? It's the C82. C82. This guy, this certain address has $7,375,000 in it of worth of value in the market. I wanted to expand this view, but the software isn't allowing me to do it without signing up. So this is only a day perspective. So in the ups and downs of a day, this guy's looking at $300,000 ups and downs, or $250,000. If we look at what other things that he holds Axis on Pulse Chain, DAI on Pulse Chain, 9mm, Dick with Butt, Blast, Hex, Wrapped ETH, Party Token, and Base Token. Both of those were done by the Maximus guys. And then this DZen, which I know nothing about DZen, but it's probably related to Zen. Interesting. He is farming on Pulse X. So he's got Pulse and DAI paired, Ink and Pulse paired, USDT and Pulse pair, and USDC and Pulse pair. So he is a liquidity provider. That's wonderful. The largest one out of this, it's basically $1 million or more put up for this situation. It's almost $4 million over on the Pulse and DAI pair, and then basically $1 million across the Ink, USDT, and USDC portions. Wow, I misread that the first time, so I'm blown away. $5 million farming right now. Okay. So liquidity pools, he's got Axis and Pulse. It's $21,000 worth. Over on PHUX, he's got just $2,000 locked in a pool. And then with the rewards, it's $250. And then this is where it says DB Zen. I don't know this, but it's only $13 worth sitting over here. And then, like all Zen things, there's a little warning, whatever that is. And then this guy has messed around with Pulse Bitcoin, which is interesting. So he's got a staked ASIC situation, and so that's 1,500 ASIC. I don't know anything about that stuff, but it mimics their staking mimics mining Bitcoin, and that's all done on Pulse Chain. Okay, so we see that this guy is a big guy, and let me bring you back to show you whenever it is that the account that everybody's donating to, it's the Dream account that is well known in the community. So there's no like Yoon jumping in front and saying like, "Oh, I'll distribute the funds later on," or I've got a wallet that I'll hold all the funds that you guys are donating to. No, instead, send it to that main account that everybody has been talking about Kareem owning for so long. And so that's very honorable and wonderful, and it's great that Kareem actually has access to his Dream account while he's on the road. I wouldn't have access to my large accounts while I'm on the road. So I don't know what he's thinking, what he's doing. Maybe in his mind he's memorized all of the 12 words in order to get into that. Most in this situation, most likely he doesn't have two wallets, or he doesn't have a Ledger or Trezor in order to make it more secure. So that's interesting. Or maybe he's able to call his friends over at Staker app and getting into this wallet and making moves, because the story is told that he did emergency in stake that one stake that was just a 10-year stake or something like that we have approached and gotten so far close to, that he was able to unstake it and not nuke the whole thing and get a little bit of value out before he then goes and asks everybody in the community, "Hey, I need funds." But really it's been him talking to Yoon instead of him broadcasting his problems to the entire community. Okay. So that Dream account, we call that the E0EBB. So let's just say EBB. When that EBB sends value out in order to get it into the traditional world, it sends it to this B2C4 account, which has 0 value in it right now. So I'm expecting that $25,000 worth of DAI to go to this one and then go into traditional finance. So here we have the transactions right here with the 5.5 ETH that's come through and the $1,300 USDC that's come through. And together, both of those were the $13,000 worth that, or $13,000 to $17,000 worth that are on the table that Yoon has been creating in order to show everybody this is what we've got so far, and thank you to these people, and whether it's a loan or not. So whenever people were donating this stuff, at first they were just, the idea was just donate it. Once it leaves your wallet, it's Kareem's stuff, and for him to get out of the situation. And then once people's questions started coming up and stuff, then Yoon was like, well, let me make this clear. If you want it to be a loan, just say so. And we'll make sure that you get paid back, because Kareem does have work ethic. Now, Yoon's not saying he has other wallets, other places, which I and many other people are suspecting. But yeah, I think once Kareem gets back to the United States, he's going to have access to a lot more funds, and he'll be able to repay immediately without even going back to work. But I think Yoon is a busy guy, and he's got work to give him if that, if that's the situation. So let's go back and wonder if like who is this $7,375,000 holder? Who is this guy? Is he a staker? Like, how long has he been in the community? What's going on? Like, maybe he saw Maddie's stream, or maybe he's been paying attention to Yoon's stuff the whole time and said like, hey, I'm a shark, or I'm a whale or something. I'm interested in helping out. Just let me know whenever you have word of how much bail is, because Yoon might have contacted this guy personally, or this guy might have watched Maddie's stream, and Maddie then says, hey, it's this amount, this is all we need, and then boom, here it comes. Because Maddie's done a few things with fundraising in our community, where he'll say something and $100,000 worth of crypto comes rolling into this this project idea. All right, let me check comments, because a few of you guys are here. Let's see, HOA, I said earlier, what's up, man? And Daraj More is in the house from the Philippines. And Red Squirrel, Oi Oi, Stylo, the old Pulse Former, Sup Eco. Oh yeah, I'm Eco Builder, by the way, everybody who's new here. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you guys are thinking, what y'all want to follow through with. Daraj said something that's way too deep for me right now. Eben Bean, I don't know. So EBB is the dream account. And what else did I want to say? So whenever, now that bail has been provided for and the bail has been set, I wonder when it is that it's going to be paid. Here soon, hopefully we'll get on a Twitter space with Yoon and talk to him, or Kareem will come to the screen and do a live stream, which will be great. So one of those two things, I hope, will be the next thing that this channel will capture on this event. Stylo asked me, when do I think Hex is going to start mooning again? Toby was on that morning show, What the Hex, the other day, and he was saying that it'll have 2 more ups and down periods in order for people to sell off. So maybe we'll have an up period for people to who aren't believers in Hex and are holding some liquid. They'll sell off at, I don't know, like a little bit closer to a penny, and then it'll come back down because of their sell off, and then it'll go back up, and then they'll sell off again, and then it'll come back down because of their sell off, and then go back up without resistance. And maybe we'll approach a penny by January, is what his chart was saying. And Hexologist has been saying the same thing. where we have to have a low time period that gets people in fear, and then go up from that and allow people to exercise those fears and selling. And then boom, they don't have any more hex. They don't care about what we care about, and their attention will go somewhere else, and then the price will sneak back up without them getting back in. So Toby showed a chart. It was just a hypothetical situation of that happening twice. Diraj says mid-May, maybe. I don't know what price range are you thinking in mid-May? Oh, maybe like mooning, because the moon would be back up to 25 cents and beyond, right? Archie, thanks for being here, man. Later on, I'm going to go over what you pointed out with what the hex, where Kareem didn't make an appearance on the show. Instead, the show featured Hex Monkey raising funds or wanting people to put their attention towards the raising of funds. So he was. This situation was featured on the show. What the Hex? It's hard for me to say that. What the Hex? Instead of it being like an earlier episode between the clips that I showed you last time and today. Stylo says he's so done with everybody asking for money. I get it. There's tons of instances like you're a guy who's resourceful and you know how to do with less. There's always needs for money. It's just never ending. So we need to get out of our softness or position that we're in. A little bit more rigid. So a real problem is like people giving away money and then selling down a price. That's the real fucking problem. People, onlookers that are looking at our red candles instead of green candles. And we're going to get to that because they talk about that and what the hex. I'm going to cover everything I have planned with the newest update stuff, and then I'm going to give you the reason why Kareem is the person he is in our community, and then also really quickly show you how Hex Monkey went on What the Hex, and that Papa B over there that always worries about wallet security. Papa B was very concerned about the story and of Kareem's situation now, and how it actually sounds like it sounds like a scheme. It sounds like he's been kidnapped, and Hex Monkey was very emotional, and he didn't really bring the presentation to the people very well. And Peter, another host on the show, he was absolutely against giving people money, just handing out the money. So then there's a conversation that's like, should we have it to where everybody gives $10 in the community, or it only be the larger holders of crypto that help out, like the sharks? Which is then what happened. Boom. Even though there were, like, at the same time that this guy that we're looking at his account, at the same time that this guy gave some funds, there were other people that gave, I think, like 100 and then 500. So maybe that's all for naught for those people. Whenever it is that one person can just, This is like a $5 bill to me. You know, this is like a lunch payment. This guy knows how to diversify himself. We just looked all over the place. Oh, and then we want to know, like, is this guy a hex staker? How long has he been around? Well, let's look at that specific wallet, the C82 wallet. The C82 wallet has 40 million hex that is staked and a portion of the interest. So I think the principal is right here at 38 million hex principal. So let's look at his stakes that are listed here. I see one smaller long distance stake that's a 2.7 million for a 5555, and that was started on the 11th of February. But I also see this other smaller one that's only a year-long stake, and then this huge one that's a 34 million hex stake that's for let's see, I think it's only for 180 days. I think the software is glitching. It shows me that the progress is 51%, and it goes from the 3rd of February to the 5th of February. So that's actually 367 days. So that's why I think the software is glitching on me. So maybe let's say this, he is definitely halfway through a 1-year stake that is 34 million hex. So he's not like a 30-day or a 90-day rollover guy. And in the past, though, he had been. In the past, he was a 70-day guy here with a 25 million hex stake. And on this 6.4 million hex stake, he's staked for like 59 days or something like that. But this is kind of funny. He must have gotten confused because he ended this one a day early and received a penalty. And then on this other one, he received a little bit of a penalty as well, but he served the whole distance. So he must have been late to unstake this one. I guess that's what this 93 days. So he was supposed to only serve 70 days and he served 93 days instead. Oh, and so he's 23 days late, which means, 2 weeks is the grace period for ending a stake. And then you start to accrue penalties every day after that. And so I don't know the percentage of his penalties, but that means that he was 9 days late, and that's why he accrued these penalties here. So that's interesting. And then also, guys, just FYI, if you expand on this website, the Hex Scout website, and you expand your total holdings here, then you're able to see what you have on Ethereum as well as what you have on Pulse Chain, which is wonderful. But it tells you here when your next stake is ending, and it gives you down to the second. So this guy's next stake, he's going to have to come back to the system in 179 days, 11 hours, 14 minutes, and 5 seconds. Cool. That's a feature that I really like. Okay. So I guess that's all the wallet digging that I want to do for today. It's wonderful that we're in the position that we are. Please like, subscribe, comment, and we're going to bring back some actual like audio this next time. So hopefully Kareem will come to the screen. If he doesn't, hopefully we can get Yoon in a Twitter space. Trap Gravity has been very interested in this subject, as we would expect, because that's kind of the territory that he likes, understanding who these people actually are and if they're in need or not. Are people telling the truth? This is the truth engine. However, people like to disguise things and be who they are in crypto, which probably is magnifying into who they are in their actual life. But what I'm trying to say is that Trap has been in communication with Yoon in order to set up this Twitter space. And if we do have this Twitter space, then I will just record it as a show of its own, and post it, and it'll be pretty raw. And I've actually got some questions lined up for him. Maybe I should read out those questions right now and see if you guys have some questions that you could add to this to be more specific. So I was going to ask Yoon, who is Kareem's friend here in the United States, who was running the fundraiser. Do you have access to Kareem's wallet or any of Kareem's wallets? When did y'all actually become friends? Like, how long has this been going on? How long has this been going on? Why has like $2,000 of ETH already left the donation wallet? And that, I was talking about that earlier, where it was like some of the USDC and some of the Ethereum left the wallet early before the 5.5 Ethereum left the wallet and made it go to zero before the then later larger account gave the $25,000 in order to make the whole situation better. Where were y'all building the house? I'm kind of interested in Yoon's business. Like, I hear that maybe it was on the West Coast, maybe it was in Central America, maybe it was in Colorado, maybe it was in Louisiana. I don't know. Does Kareem still have the apartment in Miami? Does he still have the Tesla? Is it parked in Miami, or has he sold off those things? I would assume he still has his transportation, and it's probably, parked long term at the airport over there in Miami. Whose bullets were they? These bullets that were found, this box of bullets, whose were they? Like, are we? I would hate for it to be like, well, I've got a case coming. You know what? This is exactly how it's going to be. I've got a case coming up, and so I don't want to tell you too much information. That's how it's going to be. Yep. Let's see. How much is bail? We already got to that point. I was planning on this conversation being done last night, a few hours ago. But instead, Yoon didn't publicly state 35,000. Instead, he told Maddie through instant message, through DMs, and then Maddie announced it to everybody. And I don't know what other channels are covering this stuff. So if you guys know other people who are creating content, it would be fun to put more puzzle pieces together. So the last question is like, so he has access to the Dream account while he's on the road, which is really puzzling. And I stated that earlier. Has he had the Dream account so long that he's memorized the seed phrases in order to get to it and into it whenever he wants to? Or is it just the security is there on his phone, and maybe it's through Staker App and he's friends and has worked for Staker App as an employee at one point. So maybe they completely lock his account until they know that they're talking to Kareem in order to do something. Maybe the guy that helped him out is Steph from Staker App. Let's see, we got a lot more comments here. Oh, we only have 2 more comments. I'm just scrolling around. Red Squirrel says, sounds like Toby's account, but not that anybody cares. Yeah. Well, cool. Good for Toby. Archie says the compounding effect of Hex, if you stake a long time, is incredible. Even if the price remains where it is for 10 years, you basically 4x even USD value. And he drops the line T-share preservation, which we're going to get into whenever we start watching a little bit about Kareem and what he's offered our community, because T-shares continue to become more and more rare. I like to call them shares because that's how they function, shares. The T in front of them just mean trillion. And then in the future, we might talk about B shares, billions of shares, and then M shares, millions of shares. But yeah, you stake the Hex in order to receive the shares, and the shares aren't actually like showing up in your wallet. Instead, the system, the contract address, pays attention. It stays on the blockchain. It pays attention to your wallet. So you just return with the same wallet and mint your principal plus your interest. And that's how Hex works. It's the truth engine. And what's really awesome about Hex as well is that you choose the time period that you stake your Hex. And you choose it by number of days. And so we're able to see forward projection of what everybody else is thinking. And they, as we saw earlier, you face penalties if you cancel early. You face penalties if you cancel late. Okay, so I'm going to bring up all the news is over. Now I'm going to show you why it is that Kareem has made himself a figure in our community. This is another clip from one of Matty Allen's conferences, and I think it's a pretty good one. I think it's, who is it that did this? Hex Clips. Yeah, Hex Clips created this one. I'll go ahead and like it right now. And so it's a 6-minute clip where Kareem will talk about how if you have an amount of money, I'm just going to go ahead and prepare you for it in case it is that it doesn't come across very easy to understand, but I think he does a good job. But anyway, you'll know what to look for in this. Kareem talks about how if you have a certain amount of money, let's say it's $1,000. If you were to stake 30% of that $1,000 for 15 years, the max amount, 500 or 5,555 days, then once you stake that 30%, then it will multiply. You'll get a bonus, and it'll create, it'll make that 30% then become 90% of the money that you wanted to put in the first place. So now you still have 70% of your initial value of that $1,000. You still have, let's just say, the $700 left to then utilize in another form. So it's one of these wonderful things about staking longer. You get the bonus up front, and your principal looks like you had put 90% in, but you only put 30% in. And then he'll reference T-share preservation in the end.
The beauty about this quick math is that it's not about how much money you have, it's about percentages. So it works for everybody, whether you got $100, $1,000, $10,000, or $1 million plus, it doesn't matter. And I firmly believe this should be your first priority no matter what. Before you worry about Pulse Chain, PulseX, get your money printers. The thing that pays you automatic every single day. That is the source of truth that you know is always going to be there. There's no speculation regarding. So what you want to do is you want to take 30% of the stack. Very important. And you want to stake that for 15 years. Yes, I said it. 15 years. 5, 5, 5, 5. Now, why is that? It's very important. Especially now we're in the sacrifice phase because you haven't even got your copy yet. So your staking ladder is super, super important right now because it's going to dictate what it's going to look like on the Pulse chain. So 30% stake for 15 years. It's going to do 3 important things for you. Number 1, it's going to give you daily payout for the next 15 years. There's something almost biblical, spiritual about getting paid every day. It just makes your soul so calm. It's crazy. So you're going to be able to get paid every single day for the next 15 years. And the reason why this is important is because you're going to be able to catch every single emergency and stake penalty. Dips are in the game. Emergency penalties are in the game as well. You cannot guess when they're going to come, but they will come. And you want to make sure you don't miss any of them. This is the power of a 15-year stake. You're going to catch everything no matter what. Number 2, very important. It's going to give you the 3x bonus in terms of you get the 200% bonus. So therefore, it's a 3x multiplier. So it's going to act as if effective hex is going to act as if you stake 90% of the stack, even though you only did 30% because of the bonus. And the reason why that's important is because average hexagons are about 90 to 95% stake, all the way to 100, obviously. And then they have 2-3% to 5% on the float when I've done the math. So when you have that 30% stake for 15 years, you'll get those bonuses. It's going to give you as many T-shares as if you stake for 90% of the stack, which is very important. And number 3, my other personal favorite, which I coined, it's going to give you T-share preservation. It's extremely, extremely important. We have already witnessed and started to see the total T-share pool going deflationary because the share rate is going up and up. Therefore, what's happening is a T-share is getting more and more expensive and more scarce. So you want to be able to preserve that T-share for as long as you can, because what's going to happen is you're going to start to be able to eat from the inside of the pool. And this is the key, because as the big pool shrink and you stay in the pool with those T-shares, your portion of the pie automatically, naturally becomes bigger over time without you doing anything. So T-share preservation is extremely important. T-share started at 60 cents. It's 4,000 plus right now. And at the peak, it used to be almost 10 grand. So you don't want to miss that. So again, to repeat, very important, you get the daily payout for 15 years so you can get all the penalties. You get the 200% for the 3x multiplier, and you get to preserve that T-share for the next 15 years, which is very, very important as well. And then also when the Pulse chain launch gets that as well, you will get that copy, which is very, very important. And this is something everybody can do. This is, again, Dream Account level 1. Everybody can do that. Maddie and I, he has the video. I'm going to ask him later to post it. We did a whole hour interview with a Super Shark. I went all the levels, so you'll be able to see that. But level 1 is something everybody can do. And then the remaining 70%, I call it freestyle. You can just leave it liquid. If you're that scared, just leave it liquid. That's fine. Play with it when the price goes up or down or whatever it might be. Or then you can start doing, birthday stakes, 5-year stakes, 3-year stakes, whatever it might be, on a separate wallet. The Dream Account is by himself. because when you get this done, those keys disappear. They're nowhere to be seen. They should not be around you. They should only be seen 15 years from now. That's why it's a separate account on its own. It's the t-shirt preservation. It's the legacy. I even dare to say, for those of you young, I mean, you should even think about restaking that principle when it comes out. And this is what's going to build wealth. Again, I need you to build wealth. I need you to build wealth. It's not about you. It's about the next generations, you know, kids, charity, animals, whatever you're into. This is something that's going to help your soul. This is.
I'm gonna pause it right there. We got Maddie in the comments. He's super excited that Kareem got the 25 needed. That's wonderful. Good job, Maddie, for broadcasting this to the community. And then also, I hope you don't mind. I've been featuring some of your conference content here on this stream in order for everybody to understand who this Kareem guy has been, and including right now.
Something that's going to make you feel better about yourself when you did something for somebody else. Somebody else could be a person, an animal, charity, whatever it might be. It's for the soul, because your basic needs are going to be met. That's how crazy Hex goes. And this is also a good treat that's going to help you cope with wealth syndrome, because you're going to be able to protect yourself from yourself as you get all this wealth. But when it's locked away, you don't go crazy. It allows you to have 10 to 15 years to become a better person, to be able to handle that kind of wealth. There's a difference between making $1 million and becoming a millionaire. Very important. Some people make $1 million and they know how hard it is to make that $1 million, or the work that they got to do. And they're very disciplined and they learn all the lessons along the way. That's how they actually, you know, became that millionaire. But those who just kind of inherited or win the lottery, more often than not, they end up losing all the money. And the reason to that is because they didn't became that better person that know how to manage $1 million. It's the same thing for 10 million, 100 million, billions of dollars. It's the same thing. Staking allows you to have the time to become that better person, so you're not going to squander the funds. So it's very, very important that you keep that in mind and that you use that tool.
There was a lot of info inside of that clip there. Very, very good clip. So let's go to another clip. Whenever I was searching for what the heck's Kareem, then I found a few of these clips. Let's see what he has to say here. I don't remember exactly when to stop this one, so I apologize if it's going to get a little bit rough. But then after that, we're going to go to what the heck's episode 79, Free Kareem, whenever Hex Monkey is appealing to the community, and then you know, it's taken in different ways, like I explained earlier.
Yes. With the t-shirt, you never have to do anything. There's no upgrading. There's no nothing.
So the gentleman that's speaking right now is Wales Only. He's over in New York. He never shows his face. I have met him personally. I know that he's a real person. He does a lot of streams, and everybody has their different spice that they have in their personality that comes out, and what is it that adds flavor to the entire soup of our community. So Wales Only is a guy that I recommend getting to know his style. Matty Allen's up here in the top left, Kareem's in the middle, Funding Jim bottom right. Funding Jim is a guy who has been in military. I think he was special forces at one time. And he's this guy who rubs shoulders with wealthy people, travels the nation, rents Porsches to drive whenever he's not flying. A very, very well-connected person who has attempted to get a lot of us to be less of anonymous degens in crypto and on the internet. And then Future US. I'm not familiar with this guy. So me, a Hex OG, I don't really know who this guy is, but if he's on screen with these other guys, he's in good company. All right.
There's not even a maintenance cost here.
It's your greatest fucking gift in life. And Hexicans, I need you guys to understand this. Make no mistake, okay? Hex Clip Quonky, this is your goal right here. And I'm not trying to scare you, but I want you to understand this is your life. Some of you guys, no offense, but I need you to understand, okay? Hear the whole thing first. Some of you guys never made a lot of money before. Some of you guys never made six-figure before. Some of you guys, if something goes wrong, you lose everything, you might not be able to get it back. But you are very lucky Richard created this gift and you were able to see it, get involved or whatever. You do not want to fucking blow this up because literally this is the easiest thing in the world. You don't have, like Will said, there's no maintenance cost. There's no, you got to know about computer. Like if you were to think like this is a minor, right? You don't have to safeguard it, fix it.
No coding.
Look at the chart right at the time of this stream, at the time of last stream that I just showed you. Wait, what was it? I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back real fast. At the time of no, I saw it earlier. Yeah, at the time of this stream,
Next 15 some points because
one of the guys pops up on the screen and gives the price of Hex, and it was 24 cents, I believe, during this conference, which is the Hex conference, I believe. What does that say? Hex promo or something online? Hexpo online. And then during this one, the price is 38 cents. So this is, I think, a much earlier stream. And then the price was coming back down. And then we had this conference going on at that time. Okay. Sorry to interrupt, and sorry I didn't have my facts straight.
Know what you want to know about sales, budgeting, like all those skills that people have to literally go to school for and learn and whatever. You have none of that stuff, but you have your Hex, which creates your T-shirt, which creates your minor. So
what Kareem is explaining to everybody is that you don't have to do anything whenever it is that you stake Hex and it grows. You don't have to tend to it at all like you would a business.
When a stake ends, you need to be very careful and budget how you're going to take profit, how you're going to restake, because if you blow that load, some of you guys will never be able to recover. Never. And you will hate yourself for the rest of your days. And this is not to scare you, but it's to bring awareness to the point where you should be, even if your stake is ending a month from now or a couple of weeks from now or whatever it might be, you should be already doing some math like, okay, how much do I want to restake? What's my lifestyle going to look like? Where I want to live? Like, those are the things you should be running. So by the time the stake ends, you already know what to do. Because if not, you're going to be like, there's a guy literally yesterday was crying in the chat how he sold 14 million Hex for 60 grand when he was below a penny. Guys like almost on suicide watch, almost. Like, understand, funny but not funny. That can be you.
Nah, that's not funny, bro.
It's not funny. So this is not to scare you, but it's to make you realize the gift that you have. This is the reason why when the price do whatever, the people that get it, the big one, they're buying everything. Because they know, ask Funding Jim, they know how hard it is to fucking do big ass plans, real estate, all this shit to get what, 5%, 6% annualized?
Maybe.
You're fucking lucky. And after dealing with upkeep, employee, babysitting shit, like, it's crazy. It's
yes, sir.
This is one of the reasons why I don't want to buy a house, because I don't have fucking time. Cut the grass.
Nah, that's a job. That's a job, bro. Owning a house is a job. Fuck
the reason why you get that freedom is because of that. So when that stake ends, think twice.
It's pretty good stuff, and it's great to see those timestamps with the price as well. Okay, so we're gonna go over to where Hex Monkey is making the case for Kareem, and Peter and Papa Boner are both grilling him just a little bit, the whole situation. And this actually, I could allow this to go on for like 40 minutes. So Watch out, guys. And Red Squirrels in the comments letting me know that the future US is Maddie's dev. And Archie's letting me know that he enjoys the presentation of I think it was how Kareem gave us the 3 points. The whole like 30% becomes 90% t-shirt preservation and everything. Awesome. Let's go forward.
For all of us.
Hex Monkey, can you set the stage? Can you tell us, because you have been on the phone with Kareem, you have had like first-hand knowledge.
First of all, wait, let's go back. Who is Kareem
is
the Dream? Who's Kareem the Dream? What's the particular episode? And
Yeah.
the hate will come into my inbox afterwards. I'm
After
going to be
we're
the
done
evil.
here. Yeah.
Yes.
It's episode 79.
If
It's
I
the
say
three-
something bad, message him,
Kareems.
okay?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I'll take all the
Message
flack
up.
from Peter and myself. I'm
It's the
the
three
lightning rod.
episode.
Yeah.
For all of us.
Hex Monkey, can you set the stage? Can you tell us, because you have been on the phone with Kareem, you have had like first-hand knowledge.
First of all, wait, let's go back. Who is Kareem
is
the Dream? Who's Kareem the Dream? What's
Yeah, who's Hex Monkey?
the what's the granularity? What's the
What the
detail of the
hex?
story that you can unveil to everybody here? Started as if we were all sleeping with our heads under rocks. Hex Monkey, it's all you. Let's start.
Okay,
Let's start there.
Yeah, well, this part, everybody in this chat watches this show knows who Kareem is, but he's in case you don't, he's a early Hexican. I steer clear of the like OG Hexican. People made that a bad word somehow, but he's a OG Hexican. And
All right. Tin Top comes in, says, "What's up, Hexicans?" Daraj goes out. He says that he's tired, sleepy, and goodbye. You'll see. Let's see. Hex. I don't think Hex Monkey's used to being on screen time. So
and he initially was very actively involved in streaming and educating, and was on Quant Gang and guesting on everyone's show. So he became really well known in the community, and still is, even though he's been a little under the radar lately, just fine. But he was also in the
He's under all right.
Yeah, he was in the documentary Highest of Stakes.
Yes.
And he revealed a lot. I mean, he was doxxed in there. He showed his Staker rap. It was pretty controversial. Although people need to remember that was future, value of Hex once you ended the stake that's far into the future.
So what he's referring to is like in that documentary, which was the Highest of Stakes, paid for by Toby and RG3 and a few other people. Kareem showed off his accounts, and I say show off as like not a bragging thing, but yet a lot of people took it as a bragging thing. So whenever you look at the Dream accounts and there's this projected earnings, not even projected earnings, there's those initial bonuses that you get whenever you stake for a long time period, and then the amount that's accruing in interest because you have so many shares that day after day, so much Hex is accredited to your account, but you don't have your hands on it. That's what Hex Monkey is trying to convey. And he's also conveying that, a lot of people saw that as a negative bragging thing. And then other people in the community who see that, they're just like, they're jealous of it. They wish they had that. So, Jazz is in the comments saying, do you think Hex can hit 50 cents anytime soon, or it's forever down coin? It's not forever down coin. I talked about this a little bit earlier in the stream, how we're going, because we're at where we're at, like we're pretty low, like at 97% down from the all-time highs. We're still not at all-time lows whatsoever. Those were like 100x or 150x above all-time lows. Hex has utility and it has a community behind it. So I'm a full believer in Hex. When is it that will, or he asks, like, or he or she asks, will Hex hit 50 cents anytime soon? That's kind of a question that's a little bit selfish, no offense. It'll take a little while for it to go back up to 50 cents and beyond. Maybe we were talking about earlier, like the idea of Hex mooning again. When would that actually be? And Daraj Moray was in here saying that he thinks maybe May, and that seems as though it would be a possibility of a new season beyond this election and the downturns of the current traditional finance markets. So for the rest of the year, we'll probably get over this stagnancy and start to have some green candles to show the rest of the world. And when we have those green candles, then we have other people's eyes on it. But right now, we're in a shakeout period where the weak handers are going to sell whenever they have the opportunity. And we want them to sell at low prices so that they don't sell on the way up and sort of like keep us going sideways. Instead, they let go now. We have this shakeout. They let go now, and then we can be prosperous later. And the whole philosophy of Hex has a lot to do with long-term holding. So it's a very unique token, a unique situation, and it's early in its life too. So we have to deal with the rest of the market right now. I hope I answered your question.
So that can be easily misinterpreted as like a gajillionaire in the present. But that's who Kareem is. I mean, it's easy to find out more if you want to. But yeah, this what's going on now, I'm really sad about it. I mean, that's my predominant frame of mind right now.
And let me revisit Jazz's comment as well. Like, if you want to know what I think about Pulse Chain and Pulse X, those values, and maybe Ink Token as well, I also think that it's going to have a shakeout. Like, I think that the reason why Pulse X is so low right now is because it's been going through this shakeout of these people that thought that when they were sacrificing, that a coin was going to come out within 2 months. And instead it took 2 years. And then it took a while for, did Pulse X ever go back up to SAC price? But I know that Pulse Chain did, and it went to 2.5% or 2.5 times SAC price at one point, and then it sold off from there. So we've got short-term thinkers in crypto, and we have to become unappealing to them or get them out of the way. But we're always going to have traders because it's so cheap to make transactions, and there's constantly people looking for gambling options or trading options. We are the alternate finance right now. We're often called the Wild West. So people like less rules, and they like to play with pennies. So what we need to do is, in the Hex community, we've realized this for a long time. We need more responsible long-term thinkers to come diversify into DeFi from traditional finance. Okay. And quite possibly with Trump, with I accidentally muted myself. Quite possibly with all this competition in the United States presidency race, where people are highlighting their position in crypto, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but it'll get more people's attention to the validity of Bitcoin. Like, how many people actually know anything about finance these days? How many people invest? How many people have extra dollars after their income and their bills to put into investments? It's really not many. They go to Target, and that's enough thinking for them. It's gone.
Sad for him personally. Like,
Okay,
wouldn't say
don't
I'm-
get sad until we know the sad story. Okay,
yeah,
so
okay.
yeah,
Fair
so
enough.
we know who he is. Now, what happened? What is it? What are the pencil
Yeah,
this out?
My understanding, and the only information I have beyond Yoon Anderson's Twitter and Kareem's Twitter and other stuff is I did briefly talk to Kareem yesterday. I just happened to catch him when he had access to his phone. Because originally, as a side note, like, so if you want to know the general idea, he got arrested in a foreign country on a
Yeah,
Caribbean.
but that details, timelines, details.
Yeah, okay.
Let me see if my understanding meshes or jives with yours. Okay, because I only read the tweets as well. Kareem, he's not a U.S. citizen. He's a citizen, a passport carrying customer of a Central African country. He is a green card carrying U.S. person. He left Florida, right, which is his state of residence.
Yes.
And in leaving Florida, in his either checked bag or carry-on luggage, somehow outside of the purview of TSA, or rather not upholding their purview of TSA, they did not detect a box of live ammunition. How many bullets are in a box? Just for us laymen that don't have guns. 100?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Is it 100, do you think?
And it's not even
Peter, you know, you're a gun freak.
65.
65 and a half
I don't.
bullets.
I don't know.
So 65 and a half bullets were in this carton of live ammunition, which is not something that you can just simply, oh, whoopsie. It's got some width and girth. I imagine it's probably about 3 inches by 5 inches, maybe, the box. And that was in his luggage. It was not commented on by TSA. He gets on the plane. By the way, when he gets his ticket at the, whatever airport it is in Florida, as every airport in the United States, right? They ask him one question. They say, "You got any of this shit in your bag?" No, he would have to say. "Did you pack your bags yourself?" Yes, he would have to say. When they ask you this, you assume full liability for what you've done with your bags. Are we clear on that? Do we all understand the law in flying in the Federal Bureau, which is Aviation Department of Transportation? Mike Buttigieg, right? Or is it Pete Buttigieg in charge of? That's the law. That's the rules since we were little, sproutlings. That's the deal.
All right, I'm going to pause it again. Papa Boner obviously is bringing some level-headedness to this conversation. Very interesting. So Jazz is over here in the comments trying to have it to where we go on a tangent. So he wants to know, what do I think about Eric Wall's prediction on Richard Hart's expensive lawyers and SEC case? Jazz, I already know that you're negative towards Hex because you said the words "forever down coin" in the last comment, and now talking about Eric Wall and expensive lawyers and losing SEC case. Jazz, have you been on Twitter seeing all the updates on these folks that have lost or have won their case against the SEC? The SEC is losing case after case after case, and just in the last day or two, they made it to where XRP pays a fine but wins the case. So we're expecting the same situation, or we're assuming it's going to be like that. Richard, he is doing what he needs to do. And so we just respect the space that he gives us. Whenever the case happens, it's going to be like the 24th or 25th of October in New York. And our community has some meetups that are going to happen in that area at that same time. So there's going to be a huge showing of Hexicans and people in the Pulse Chain community over there. I think it's pulsechaintour.com or a Wild SJ that's coordinating those meetups, if it is that anybody wants to go to those. Academiated is in the comments saying good morning. Hex detectives. Yes, that's what we are here. He also says the SEC exists to extort. Then throwing the hands up. I don't know. We're in a weird position. Earlier today, I was thinking about how, or actually it was earlier yesterday, I was thinking about how, like, maybe we did ourselves a disservice by making it popular for all of our streamers to say, this is not financial advice, or not that it's not financial advice, that, what was it? I am not a professional financial advisor, something like that. Just saying this certain disclaimer makes it to where people may not take you serious about, like, this, we are talking about real things. And it might have slowed down our progression on appealing to folks so that they would come into DeFi from traditional finance. So that was a thought that I had just yesterday, because who continues to be in crypto are a bunch of people who want to hit you in the balls and run away. And that's the way it is across, like, a lot of social media. And I guess I started thinking about this because I was listening to a Crypto Wonder podcast, and he was talking about, like, get off your computer and go live your life and go have a relationship, like an intimate relationship. All you young guys, go out there and have a relationship with someone, to where you experience women and the softness and the beauty and the way that they the way that they flow through the world, and that'll give you more rounded experiences, instead of just experiencing with other young males who are struggling from the same stuff that plagues our society whenever we're all behind screens and anonymous names. And I was also on Twitter witnessing, like, all of this bad mouthing, bad talking that was being posted below this picture of a white van that had a dent on the side of it, and it had huge logos of PulseX, Pulse Chain, Hex token, and maybe Ink was on there as well, incentive token. And so, like, this person's going out there and they're getting visual exposure to our branding, and there was a dent on the side of the van, and people were critiquing the van itself. They were critiquing the dent, and they were just, like, making up stories about what first came to mind with them, which were pretty silly. Like a rape van, or a luring kids into that van, or just hobo-ish type ideas. There's, across the board, there's all sorts of arguments, and the only way that anything can get better is if people get involved instead of flippantly making their remarks and then running away. And that's what I have to say. And this comes from a perspective of a person who has decorated their car in magnets, and also who has been a part of the Hex postcard effort, hexpostcards.com. We experience hate all the time. Some people don't believe in direct mail, and some people love the professionalism that we're able to deliver to absolute strangers and give them exposure. All right, let's go forward. So back to this totally separate idea, back to what Papa B's talking about.
Deal. My question is, he then comes to Turks and Caicos, a, shall we say, luxury resort destination? Turks and Caicos, I only hear about.
It's an island. Like, I had to
Fair enough.
Google this actually, where this is. This is Turks and Caicos. And this
Yes.
is a sort of a Caribbean island. Then I remembered
Yes.
I know this island because I was playing Pirates on the Commodore 64 back in the
Yes,
80s.
yes, yes.
And this is just north of the Dominican Republic. So
Yes, but
it's
may I direct your
Bahamas.
attention to hey, DJ, look
Yes.
up in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. Do you
Yes.
see the beautiful
Correct.
emerald type of water and white sand beaches? If you zoom in even further, you'll see people sunning themselves.
Yeah,
It
of
is
course,
a-
there is beaches. in
It's
the
a
Bahamas.
luxury destination. Luxury destination.
Yeah, here's the Bahamas.
Okay,
so,
okay,
this
let
is
me-
all-
Okay, all right. So we know where it is geographically. Let's
Yeah.
finish the story. He then arrives there. Upon arrival, which is I don't understand how the timeline kind of escapes me now. Was it when he was trying to return, or was it when he got there? Because the testimony from his friend on Twitter said he really works hard every day. It sounded like he was.
I gotta stop it right there. Papa B is about to talk about things that didn't happen. I believe what it was is whenever he arrived at Turks and Caicos, and he was working with Yoon building a house back in the United States, like 2 months ago, and then he goes to Miami to hang out or pass time. And then he gets on a plane and flies from Miami to Turks and Caicos with a buddy, is my understanding. And it's either Kareem's luggage or his buddy's luggage that had the box of bullets in it. But it was Kareem that was nailed with having it in his possession. So what's about to come out of their mouth and them talk about on this stream is going to be incorrect.
Was there and he was doing some, work somehow.
Yeah, like
So
okay.
at what time did the authorities say, you've got live ammunition, you're coming with us? You're
Yeah, I'm
detained.
not 100% sure, and I'm not comfortable speculating on what I can't verify.
No, no,
I don't even
again,
know-
we're gonna
really
leave it
go
out
into the
there.
details.
We're-
Yeah, I
we're
don't
gonna-
even know
legal
for a fact
reasons.
if he brought the stuff with him from U.S. mainland to the island, or if it somehow
It-
acquired it on the island. I have
on
no
the
idea.
island. Okay, we don't know that then. Okay,
Yeah,
that's great.
either-
That's
and
great.
It doesn't matter. The end result doesn't matter.
Okay, good. So anyway, so the thing that we do know is somehow bullets were in his possession, and that's a no contraband in that particular port of call.
Yes.
Then he was detained, and he was given the opportunity to be represented for a fee. For that fee that he didn't have, I guess, on him, he EES'd all of his 2030 stakes, is what was reported.
Yeah, so Kareem has EES the 2030 stakes, and that means he did one on Ethereum and one on Pulse Chain. And then that was his initial down payment for a lawyer in order to get the representation. And then he was in communication with Yoon to then run the fundraiser.
He came up with the money to be represented. I guess the laws are different there. There's no public defender. There is how much money you got. I'll do it if you come up with this much in 24 hours. He then did that, got through the first hurdle, and then he was able to tweet out to, I would hope, family first, friends next, extended, people in the community, or rather, focused OG pod first and then onto the greater. It seemed like it went out to everybody pretty quick. And he says, I need more money to post bail, or else I could face 12 years of hard labor in the sweatbox. So the question then is that somebody was quick to dig up that whole mandatory 12-year sentence for this type of, chicanery was done away with just recently, thank goodness. But other conspiracy theorists in our community said that that's what someone could easily look at and come up with this tale that, a mandatory sentence is possible. Maybe if it's not mandatory, it's still a possibility, right? You could get a judge that says it's not mandatory anymore, but God damn it, I don't like the cut of your jib. I'm going to throw you in the sweatbox for.
That's exactly it. In fact,
Yeah.
the main issue that the whole endeavor here is about is to get him out of that unlikely but possible worst case scenario. That's what it's all about.
Sure,
No
sure.
No one's expecting to write a check and he's off scot-free and lickety split like it never happened. No, he's even the best possible outcome here, the
Yep.
most desirable that would be
Yep.
victory,
Yep.
is he's in for a rough few months, and then he still has to deal with the financial repercussions, the reputational repercussions. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah, but
people
a
that
couple
are-
details. There's
yeah,
more
the trolls
details we
that are
need.
online saying, "Oh, we're not just going to bail him out. He needs to handle this himself." He is going to have a lot to handle himself.
Sure, but Hex Monkey, hold on a second. Let's work the details because we're still
Yeah.
trying to focus this whole thing in so we can analyze it. That's all we can do right
Yeah,
now.
so
But,
I can vouch for some of what you said.
well, how much are we talking? How much is the dollar value that you're after? You don't simply say give generously, like Kamala Harris saying, I don't have any campaign funds, just throw in whatever you
Right.
want, and it's unlimited.
Yeah,
What does
this
he
just-
need?
This
What does he
just
need?
happened yesterday, and I just spoke with his friend and the guy who's organizing the endeavor and who is the boots on the ground guy.
Okay, what's the
Helping
number
look,
then?
John
What's the number?
Anderson, and his Twitter is Yoon Anderson. But what he told me is that they're hoping to find out within 24 to 48 hours what the bail amount would be. They don't know yet.
Okay, so they don't
And
know.
so-
Well, how much?
And in terms of an order of magnitude, it's not $2,000, it's not 200 grand, maybe 20 grand. I mean, this is order of magnitude ballpark ish.
Well, 20 grand for bail, right? And then he needs to be represented again
So
in
it's
court.
an approximation just for the ballpark, but I'm not giving you what the number is, Mr. Anderson.
Okay, all right. So let's run two scenarios. One,
So let me pause it right there. We realize that this story is going to take place over a long period of time, like 1 month, 2 months, something like that, until he has his trial date. As of right now, I believe the trial date's going to be September 6th, but maybe it'll get pushed back later, just like the bail set time period had been pushed back. Obviously, this stream right here that we're reviewing was done many days ago, maybe like 6 days ago to an entire week ago. It's going to progress kind of like this. I'll have comments here every once in a while. If it is that you guys want to buzz out, so be it. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Please like, subscribe, comment what it is that's in your head. Maybe let me know what it is that, what perspective y'all have in things that I can cover in the future. Yoon, in his last tweet, was saying that Kareem is going to come to the screen. He's going to do something online, video wise, or possibly live stream here soon. So that'll be awesome. And then also, I'm hoping that Trap Gravity is going to set up a space with Yoon, and we can ask him all sorts of questions here in the next day or so. Hex Glenn's in the comment, just giving away, hey, or giving a wave. Hey, Hex Glenn, good to see you, man. Hope you're having a good day.
20 grand to 200 grand. How's that? Okay. If it's 20 grand, Peter's like scratching his head internally. His brain is like being scratched right now.
The amounts for bail had been set at what was it, 35, and then 25 was just gifted recently. So he's got well over the amounts that he needs, and then for bail, that is. But now he has to live on the island once he's freed from jail. He has to live on the island for another month or two, depending, and so he'll need funds for food and shelter. So keep that in mind if it is that y'all are still interested in donating.
I can smell burning hair. Peter, what do you make of this so far?
I'm not buying anything.
So you don't believe
I
it
need
at all?
pictures from the jail.
Oh, come
I'm
on,
not
Peter.
buying anything. So because this is crazy. He unstakes, I don't know, 20 stakes, whatever, to get money. So what he needs to do, log in with Trezor or what his security is. I don't know. He has that on his person.
Or he's told someone, or he wait. We can imagine that he could call someone and tell someone how to do it. It's like, hold on, jail guard, hold on. This is going to take me an hour to tell somebody how to use my Trezor. Can I just have an hour to raise the money? That also is an interesting thing.
He doesn't have any money on him.
Isn't that crazy? I alluded to the idea that he could be a past employee of Staker app and then had it to where he made those long stakes in the Dream accounts with the Staker app, and then they have executive capabilities of rewriting on his account. But for him to be in jail and get into his large account, that's a big deal, because we're always talking about wallet security. How did he actually do that? So Peter's just like, I just don't understand this situation. And it's wonderful the different perspectives that these guys have come up with in such a short amount of time while on stream. It's great.
He has no bank accounts, nothing, all empty. He needs to unstake those, I don't know how many stakes. Then that person needs to sell it for stablecoin, then to bridge the stablecoin to Ethereum, then sell that stablecoin on
then wire transfer to his bank.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
Then wire it to someone.
Peter.
Jesus Christ, that's
no, Hex Monkey, he's got a good point. The
crazy,
point is,
dude.
how was money raised and what were the mechanics in that? Because that was a head scratcher for me too.
How does he raise his own money? It's stinky.
But he probably
really
he probably
stinky.
cannot, because
Like-
he's in jail, and the news article mentions his name, the one that Richard Hart even posted on his Twitter. So
Well, yeah.
that is the
I
story.
mean,
It's from a
Did
Caribbean.
he go
newspaper.
there with $100? What the crap?
Well, on vacation.
Well, you don't go with
you are
20
your
grand,
credit
Peter.
Card and probably doesn't even have
No.
his Trezor with him.
Yeah, okay, so but the person that was communicating on his behalf said that he already EES'd the shorter term, his near term, what the 2030 was done to pay for the representation. So the mechanics are clear. If it just happened, he would have liquidated, sent the cash, and been able to pay for this attorney to represent him, all within how many hours? How many hours?
Well, or to deposit the bail money.
Within a
That's
day
what
or
it is in the first
something.
place.
Within
Yeah, I
a
mean,
day. Within a day.
Apparently, this attorney was able to accept crypto, so he was able to skip a lot of steps,
Except
Okay.
Hex.
Ah.
which is
Or
why the
stable.
assumption. I mean,
You're
I
kidding,
love you,
right?
Peter, but it's very tempting and easy to fill in the blanks yourself when you don't have the information. And I'd say we should err on the other side of.
Well, we're
Caution.
examining it. We're
Yeah,
getting
but
at that.
it's-
We're getting
it's
at that.
hard for me to accept anything because this community has been fleeced since day one, since Hex launched. There were so
100%.
many projects that this coin will help Hex. Buy this coin and it will help Hex. It sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, I'm going to take it one step
Okay,
further.
if you
Peter,
need
Peter's
money,
right.
call someone in the US. Hey man, can you take a loan for me? I'm in jail. Can you do that? How much you need? 20 grand. Okay, I will take a loan. I will sell your Tesla or whatever and give you the money, transfer you the money. Why does this needs to be handled in crypto, through crypto? What?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like he's talking about the levels of difficulty to have it to where you're scrounging for funds in crypto and then turning it into traditional finance. And Papa Boner, in his mind right now, he's thinking, yes, this is very interesting. A lawyer's office, which is probably the only lawyer's office in that area of the world, will take crypto payments, which is very unusual. So in the comments, Finbear has joined us. Welcome, Finbear. See these 3 squares? That's what it shows up for me on both YouTube and StreamYard. So I don't know what you just put there, but thanks for it. I hope one of them's a magnifying glass. Josh is also in the comments. There's a mystery in here somewhere. I wouldn't vacation with my wallet. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So that's why I think that because Staker app knows him, then maybe, you know, he has that special connection to the Staker app. Or maybe he has quite a bit of security on his wallet. I'm sorry, on his phone that has connection to his wallet. I don't know if Kareem has more than one cell phone. That's a question that maybe I should add to the Yoon Anderson thing, but you know, no comment is what I would expect from that question, to tell you the truth. So if Kareem has Staker app at all on his phone, then most likely he could do a special entry into that app and the functions of it. I don't know. Okay.
It's the call your mama. Mama, I need 20 grand. Like it's
Well, maybe his
really-
mama doesn't have money. Maybe he doesn't have his bank account information.
Yeah,
to be wired
well,
to.
if he's
Like-
from if his whole family is in Africa, that's
Hopefully
okay.
on this show we'll clarify, not add more speculation and FUD, at least.
Well, no, I agree. I agree with Hex Monkey here. Let's only talk the facts that we have. And Peter, obviously, we know where Peter's coming from. He's going to be the major
God damn.
devil's advocate. In
And for
fact,
what
I see
it's
his,
worth,
his
I-
horns are sprouting.
I'm in
For
a
what it's
second
worth,
world
I
country.
agree with
I mean,
his I understand the sentiment that Peter's describing. I totally get it. There's been a lot of sacrifices, raises, help me out, amicus briefs, lawyer activity. So all I'd
Yep.
say is
So
you know,
legit and not, both.
So I get the general sentiment, but on the other hand, we all have brains. We have discernment. We can look at this as we can be skeptical. In fact, Peter, I'll vouch for you. For the first 24 hours, I didn't believe it, except that I talked to him personally and I talked to John personally. Before that, me and the other guy I was talking to in the community were like, this is probably a scam because we've gotten impersonated communications from community members.
So here in a second, Papa Boner is going to ask, like, what sort of validation did you get on talking to Kareem? Like, did you get him to talk about something that only you and him know, to where somebody couldn't just be faking it on either voice or text?
sounds like
So
it.
then,
It
to
really
that
sounds
to that
like it.
So
end,
skepticism is valid, but now we're past the point of
Yeah.
wondering whether it's true or not.
True, but hold on a second. I want to know more about how you confirmed. You confirmed verbally only with Kareem directly. Kareem directly. When we
Yes.
know that he's been doppelgangered from voice before. So did you see him on like FaceTime video?
No, it was a voice call. It was a phone call, like my cell phone and his.
So
cell phone.
audio only, no
Audio
video.
only. And even then, me and the other guy, I don't want to name the other guy, but colleague of his too, were
Yep.
like, well, you can simulate a voice too. I said, yeah, but it's weird that he would have his voice and his number, the number that I've had in my contacts for a long time.
No, we
So
know
it's
that
like
his
a shrinking,
Mm.
it's a shrinking probability.
did you get okay, so sorry, my sneaky mind is asking, did you authenticate him with something that only he and you would know about sometime you met up in Vegas or something like that? Did you give him that type of, you know, once over before you actually believed it
No,
was him?
I didn't have a lot of time because I wanted to tell him to call the other guy who was waiting to see if the text was a scam so that we
Okay.
could round robin this thing. So I didn't have the wherewithal to be that clever. Instead of that, I just listened to his voice, the stuff he was saying, the mannerisms, the style, which is no guarantee, but that's what I was listening for.
Okay, so that's usually okay. I'll just say, sneaky mind hat on, right here. This
Yeah.
is sneaky mind hat, right?
That's your
So
profession and your experience. Go for it.
right. Okay. So again, the reason that a lot of these things are perpetrated and people shake their heads and say, how could this fucking possibly happen? Because time is always pushed. It's like, no, I've only got grandma. It's me. It's Yoshi. I'm in jail. It's your fucking grandnephew Yoshi.
yeah.
Yoshi, I don't have, you mean Yoshimitsu? Yeah, it's Yoshimitsu. I'm going to die in 15 minutes if you don't wire me 50 grand. Oh, I better do that quick. That's the old people scam in Japan, right?
But look,
So,
isn't
yeah.
isn't the thing that we need to raise sort of the bail funds fairly quick for him to be enabled to then deal with this thing by himself?
Yeah,
to
remember,
then
this is all still
possibly
very
get a
fresh.
hold
This
of
is
his
like,
crypto, and
yeah,
it's
this is
just
less
putting
than
him
I
in
48
a
hours from
position
Any
to
start
deal
to
with it himself, which
thing
he's
works
not
together.
possible to at the moment.
So what DJ just raised was like, we haven't been given a bail limit, like a goal, right? And then also the idea for raising the money was like, let's just do it as soon as possible. So it's, you know, our spidey senses are reacting to this, and that's what DJ Crypto is pointing out now that they started talking about limited time. Red Squirrel's in the comments saying we all have agency. We must take responsibility for our own actions, whether that's that you stake everything too long or carry ammo on a plane. Take it private and leave the community alone. That's Red Squirrel's stance. Let's continue.
So let me get this straight. You are the police that arrest him. He has nothing on him. And you say to the police, okay, I have money in the US to cover all this shit. Can you allow me to do my transactions? I mean, they would not allow him to do anything, like call someone. It needs to go straight to Twitter, straight to the community. Like, give me money. I need
incorrect again,
all the
sir.
money you can send me.
Okay, no, fill it in. Correct this here, Hex Monkey, please.
Like a lot of
timeline.
these things are, and maybe Peter's just kind of in the mode of his initial reaction. Like, totally get it.
Obviously.
Yeah. But
yeah, I am.
But correct us. Fill in the blanks, please.
Yeah, could you remind me where you were just going with that? Because
So not to pick on you, Hex Monkey, but that right there, him losing track of where he was going with something just because Peter said, you know, like, hey, you know, I'll admit that I'm staying on, you know, my fortitude that this could still be a scam. You know, this is the emotional bit that I'm talking about, but it makes an interesting story. You know, Hex Monkey, quite emotional about the situation, knows the guy personally, wants to do good for him, doesn't want him to fall to any ailments while it is that he's in this jail or prison later on. Papa Boner, he's a person who's able to carry on the dialogue and also still have a sense of humor in entertaining, you know, the entire audience that this show entertains. And then these other two guys are European guys with English isn't even their first language, I don't believe. So very interesting.
Okay, all right. So Peter's gone all over the
A little
ice.
bit
Let's focus.
flustered
Let's
about the
focus this again on timeline. Okay.
yes.
Okay. So we have an amount that we're agreeing on is either 20 or 200 grand. It's possible for the community to pass the hat in a second to get that done. That's not the problem. The problem
regret
is
coming up with even order of magnitude numbers because you guys are
don't worry. We're just putting these are not accurate numbers. These are just things to anchor our discussion. You can't simply say it's an unknown amount because that would be stupid, right? Right?
It's an unknown amount until it's known, which, as I said, is expected to be coming soon in a matter of hours.
I get it.
So he's pointing out like we're raising money for an unknown goal cap, and it would be stupid if we were doing that. He just made him say that.
I get it. We're going to take a step though for the the actual
I mean,
discussion.
do you want to
here.
know what I am aware of or not?
Please. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, I know the part that Peter's fifth or sixth speculation that's untrue is that he went straight to the community. Actually, he first went straight to close friends and close kind of OG buddies, I guess. And John later proposed to Kareem, like, hey, is it okay if I share this with the community? I think we might be able to. At that point, they wanted contacts for lawyers. This wasn't like straight to cash.
Right.
It was like, if anybody knows anything about any of this, it was really brand new.
So that's a good point, is that initially it was like, who does everybody know, and can we help him out through the grapevine of just connections? Initially it wasn't about money, and then once it goes to money, or once the idea for money comes around, then it's like, okay, well, is someone benefiting from being a part of this? And I'm not gonna say that Yoon is clout chasing or anything like that. I think that he's quite happy with who he is. With his, I think his Twitter account is 1,600 followers, and you know, his life and everything looks great, looks just fine. I don't think he's a clout chaser for doing what he's doing.
So, you know, it wasn't Kareem's idea to go originally to the community. It didn't take long, but he had to be convinced to go that route because it's embarrassing. Let's face it. I think his initial, and remember, he's very flustered. He's in there. It just happened. I can't imagine what I would resort to on the quick. But then the process started of his friend John, who is pretty tight with him. They work together. That's the other thing. For those things who think he's just farting around with his life, he's been doing manual labor construction of houses for many months. You know, so he's in.
So think about like getting into the clink and only having a few minutes to communicate. I would be saying yes to everything. Like, try all the ideas, please. All you people who have your freedom. I've got 5 minutes to tell you of my situation and how I need you to help me. And so yes, please do this, please do that. You know, just everything that you can think of, create it and do it.
In the bear, he's working hard. He's not fresh off a month of partying, you know. Just clarifying. I'm not putting him on a pedestal. It's just I'm confronting some of the nonsense that I've heard.
Okay, all right. You're going to get nonsense on this show. You know that it was what we're all about.
But
okay?
It's intelligent nonsense here.
Yeah, well,
It's all
thank you.
nonsense.
We'll try. But let's also take the emotion out of this, because for the sake of time, we want to get to the bottom of it and decide how best to help him. How's that? Is that
Yes.
a positive
Yeah,
way we
for
can end
sure.
this? Okay. So
And
at the
also,
end of this,
I want to reiterate that I completely understand what Peter has expressed as an initial reaction kind of thing. Totally
Right.
get it. I was there. Even when I talked to him, I wasn't convinced until I also audio talked with John Anderson, his buddy,
okay.
who vouched for
All
him, and then that was enough for me. So
I have a
there's
couple of questions leading up to this. Again, it's all about the custody of the firearm materials. Let's say the cartridges that he has that are live cartridges, whether they're in his possession before he left or after he was there. Question is, where's the fucker he was holding it for, and why is that person not putting up the money immediately?
Yeah, who knows? I have no idea. But
It
yeah,
was
that's
his
I think
roommate.
he's
It's his
in
roommate.
jail too. I think they're both in jail. There's like
Could
4
be.
people.
Are they? Are
I
they?
think so.
No, I don't think so.
No
They're
idea,
not
so I
any
won't-
named
I won't
people.
speculate.
So DJ Crypto has it a little bit wrong. He's assuming that all the people that were inside the video or the article that featured a little bit that could be well, okay. The article did have Kareem's name in it, and the descriptions of Kareem, but the video that Richard Hart posted below one of the tweets in the comments, that had a group of basically mugshots or portraits, and then it had the black and white silhouette that I've been featuring on the thumbnails of all these videos. And for some reason, that thumbnail or that silhouette does not read the same name as Kareem. It's not Kareem's name. It's somebody else, like with Williams in his name. So DJ is getting a little bit confused on how many people were caught at the same time. We haven't confirmed whether the roommate or whoever this other guy who is supposedly the owner of this box of bullets or this luggage, we haven't confirmed that he has been taken into authorities. We don't know. The reason why DJ has it confused is because the government recently has made stricter laws, and they've caught a lot of people in this same situation recently, and a lot of them are US citizens. And those people, like, I think one was from Oklahoma, one from Texas, and one from Virginia, and then another person from Jamaica. So the US citizens have just done their fine, like $9,000, and then were able to get back home. But it took politicians to reach down to Turks and Caicos government in order for that to happen. Let's see. I wanted to take a moment just to say we've arrived at 2 hours long on this live stream, and I apologize that it's taken so long. I was thinking about doing 2 different episodes, but with my time in my life, I just thought I would go ahead and get all this stuff out there before we then go further with the audios next time. Sweet.
Okay, so
the press article mentions 4 names. There's even
no, but that's
news
recent cases.
I mean, so like you're saying, why didn't he contact that friend? How do you know he didn't? We don't need to know everything,
right.
and we can't. know it.
Yeah, yes, I would contest. We do need to know more than what we know now, which is
Yeah,
just I'm in
amounts
trouble.
would be
Help me.
good, and how to verify would be good for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure that. And oh, they take crypto. That's the first legal organization in the world that I think I've ever heard of that accepts crypto direct.
Yeah.
I don't think that. Anyway, I don't know because I don't know Turks and Caicos. So I imagine that they've got very arcane and archaic laws.
I don't find that too crazy because there's St. Kitts and Nevis, close by, which, they sell passports to crypto people to come there and live. So that's kind of a thing in these islands to attract crypto-rich investors. So that's why I would think that is very much possible.
Yeah, maybe the lawyer took it reluctantly for expediency, but
that's great information.
In terms of
that's great information. DJ Cryptomatic happened to know that there are that Turks and Caicos is advertising to crypto people to come down there and live. Therefore, there are people who have a lot of crypto within their grasp and are, capable of paying for things with crypto on that island. That's very cool.
the timeline, Papa, that you keep wondering about, the first order of business was just to retain someone. That's been accomplished. So that's like,
okay.
Next is to find out what the bail amount is, and there's a procedure for that. And that's, John told me that's hopefully 24, 48 hours away. He can chill out in his cell until then.
Okay.
but we now know a week later that it ended up being 35,000.
But do
I
you know how
suggested
he's
to
actually
John, and he
being?
was already going to do it, is like, hey, John, a lot of people are suspicious because of all the earlier fundraisers where they didn't disclose what was needed, how to verify that it was received, all that stuff. You may want to be as transparent as possible. He says, yeah, I agree. Like, how much do you need? What percentage of the way are we there? Will you stop when it's full? You know, that kind of stuff would really help.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something it's going to be, it's not going to be taken well. I'm going to say that my first knee-jerk response was, oh my goodness, we've been fighting, you know, at least the security-minded people in our community, we've been fighting to get into everybody's minds that they themselves are a liability to the entire team if they don't manage their seeds appropriately. And keep your shit straight. And Hex Monkey, you and I have had hours and hours of this discussion since way back years ago. We've been nailing this.
Yeah.
Well, what's great about this though, like this situation is if the remainder of those stakes get canceled, then all the penalties apply to nullify, absolutely nuke the stake to where all the penalties that are accrued, whatever's left in those stakes, if they were to get nuked, it wouldn't go any to Kareem. Instead, it would go to the stakers that exist right now, everybody else who has shares in our system, and the origin address, the OA, the infamous origin address. So it would be split 50-50. And it's not that big of an account. I'm not sure how many millions there are, but it's probably less than the millions that, well, I don't know. Maybe there's like 90 million, and then that would be on both sides. So 45 million on both sides would go to the stakers and divided evenly. I really don't think it would be that big of a payout. Like our typical payouts are up to 7, almost 8 hex per T-share nowadays, I believe. So it would probably bump it up to 10, you know, per T-share, which is bumping it up, but it's nowhere rivaling the highest that we've ever received, which was more like 20s, like teens and 20s. All right, Facing Reality has joined. He says, "What's up, fam?" Hello, Facing Reality. Let's get back to the show.
It shocked me that liability goes to a much broader extent. You have to wait until you reach your goal through all this hell, right? For years of believing. But your brothers and sisters in this community are also a liability because they have to be responsible not to put themselves in legal complications that are desperate like this, that request you to quickly manage your, you know, liquid assets or your staking ladders, God forbid, and put it out there to save a life. So we're all now open to the idea that there's many more liabilities between you and success in this thing of ours. And it does stem from our greatest strength, which is also now revealed to be a bit of a weakness, and that is our camaraderie in our community. So that being said, I want to get that out there, is that I'm conflicted, right? Because I'm like, oh shit, every time that the dam has a crack and you patch it up, there's a bigger one waiting, and that is all to do with human, you know, the human condition. So somebody fucks up, Hex Monkey, you get your third DUI. Can I say that on a stream?
Yeah, go
that
for
you've had 2, and the third one happens, you could be put away quickly if you don't, you know, rigmarole something in some backwoodsy courthouse, and the guy wants a backhander for 50 grand, and you reach out to me and I say, don't bend down for the bar of soap because I don't got that money because I'm all staked. You can understand where I'm coming from, right? It's like a lot of people in this community didn't think that by being good friends with people, they're assuming liability for their good choices in life.
And by the way, I should clarify, because this is all just ripe for misunderstanding. I'm not here to promote the fundraiser or say everyone should send money. I haven't sent money. I don't know if I'm going to. I'm not doing that. trying to fill in the blanks of knowledge since I had some conversations, and to try to frame it in a way that I think is proper, which is that the only urgent thing that he needs help with is this short term, avoiding the worst case scenario where he somehow gets the maximum instead of the minimum. Because we don't want that. And then next year or months down the road, people that are so inclined can give him the tough love and smacks he deserves. But now's not the time, in my opinion.
Do you know how he's being detained? Isn't he like in a single investigation cell, or is he with the general Gen Pop
I don't know who's around him, but
Caribbean
he's
jailhouse?
confined in jail, but I don't know that
Mm,
or care about the immediate environment that much.
right.
I just let y'all enjoy what Papa Boner just said about Monkey. I'll just leave it at that.
Because
Yeah,
that
so
is
I
my
mean-
worst. That is my worst fear, that he's been held in like a Caribbean prison, which can be absolute nightmare.
Oh yeah, it's corrupt
conditions.
as
From
anything.
your understanding, DJ,
From my understanding and
firsthand,
articles that I've read, and
I've watched
you know,
Papillon. I don't want to go anywhere
like
where
there's no
that
air
was.
condition, and I think Kareem is not built for that life. Like I've met him in Vegas, we spoke, and I don't think he is built up for that. And
Who
so
is?
No
that
one
must
is. No
be
one
an
is built for that.
absolutely
No one.
absolute nightmare situation for him to be in, especially if it's like unjust, wasn't his doings, and like he's really caught up in a jam. And I think the Hex community should consider helping, because he's really put in the work in education in these first 2-3 years. He opened a lot of people's eyes to building staking ladders. So he has done the work. I can see the other side of people. Yeah, he's been partying in Miami, and why didn't you set funds aside for a rainy day or whatever? But that's
Yeah,
all.
right.
People say that.
I look
but
at it almost like,
help,
there's no
you know.
analogy here, but if he was like my little brother and I cared about him,
Mm.
I'd want to kick his ass right now, but I'm suspending that until a month later when the crisis has passed.
Yeah,
Because let's face it, this was a perfect storm of bad planning and decisions on his part. It's kept an obvious time. Like the people that are memeing and ridiculing, like not in this show or this audience, but in the wider, like, what are you doing? Of course he messed up. You don't think we know that, and he knows that? It was a perfect storm of bear market, some shenanigans that are going on with his roommates in his apartment, and expenses, his access to funds once the trouble started on the island, and bad decisions on the ground,
Yeah.
A perfect storm of shit.
So
So
in 24 hours to 48 hours, you'll get the total. The next step will be what?
To secure that amount of money from whoever, his family, friends, community.
Okay.
And that's the guy to follow for details, because I
Yeah,
won't
so here's
be the
at
first to receive.
Jon 7 Anderson. You can follow him on the X, and he's even offering this as a loan, so to speak, in
Yes.
crypto.
So
I mean,
all
this
the-
all on a homeboy level, but still.
so all the haters who are saying, "Oh, just another handout," no, he doesn't want a handout. It's a borrowing in an emergency. It's like a cash advance on your credit card kind of emergency.
Right.
Look, these are not binding unless let's put the loan
No, of
in
course.
good faith category. It's a unsecured loan that will come through with no interest offered. It's just simply, I'll pay you back. That's what you have. Let's be straight and honest. That's what
Yeah,
he's
pretty
offering.
much. All they have is John, who I've met several times, is a good guy. He's managing it, so it's really his word and Kareem's word. Sure, this is fraught with some risk for sure, which is why I'm not.
And trust, and lots of
Yeah.
trust.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to break it down. I want everything to be on the table so that we can reconstruct this. Again, in 20 minutes, I hope to, this is just my hope, to arrive at a way that we can help with every aspect already pre-argued, so you can make a decision, binary decision, yes, I'm going to help, or no, I'm not going to help. That's it.
Yeah, and for the people that are like, oh my God, my heart goes out to him. I pray that he'll be okay, but I can't or don't want to send money. Totally nothing wrong with that point of view. It's just the people that are talking shit and making up information, making up facts that I admit it. Those are the things that set me off and frustrate me.
Okay, crass comment incoming. Just I'm flagging this right now that this is levity. This is a levity portion of the show in a very dark place.
Yeah.
I just thought of something, and here it goes. Okay, just imagine that we just jump cut to the Lamity School second grade class has all collectively made finger paintings for Kareem, and they're sending them so he can enjoy some kind of heartwarming moment while he is in this terrible time. I can read some of these
There's
messages.
one from Finbear.
Yeah, from Finbear. Yeah.
Dirty joke incoming with Finbear. So Academiated is in the comments saying, pro tip, never expect to be paid back from family or friends. Just saying. Yeah, totally. I am for when it leaves your wallet, have no expectations. So just everything that you lend out to people, air quotes, lend out to people, just go ahead and let them know that it's free. It's my gift to you. I wanted to do this for you, and you don't have any attachment to it. Just say to yourself, what am I willing to give up, and give it. And it actually feels pretty good. But otherwise, you're taxed with the idea that that person owes you from then on out. And every time you see them, you think of that money. And actually, it does a number for relationships as well. Like if people, if you have that strictness towards money, people who are unserious will not hang around you, and they'll move on, and you'll find that they were just a temporary friend. But he also says family here as well. If you want, I used to think to myself, like, what's the only thing that can get between family members? It's money, and it's just so controlling. So good advice, Academiated. I like that. So let's hear this joke from Finbear, and then I think we'll take the stream just basically till the end. So we've got another 17 minutes or so, and then after that we'll be done here, and then hopefully we'll be back with some awesome screen time or some audio.
Hey guys, do you know what they call a deaf gynecologist? He's a lip reader.
It's a lip reader, a lip reader, a lip.
I had to listen to
reader.
this 3 times, but I love it.
Oh boy. Okay, so now we get back to serious. Okay.
Yes. Can I say
brother,
something
a brother, please,
to bring the mood down totally?
Yeah.
And this is not helping Kareem, but I need to get this off my chest.
We're not helping him.
I've been saying this. This is what I've been saying for years now. When in mid-ish May 2022, the community and Richard Hart allowed the price to dip below 10 cents. That was a problem because that took away our options. Most of the people's options to help, especially in situations like this. Back then, 100,000 hex at 10 cents, that gets you a car. And also 100,000 hex, if you have a big staking ladder, you make that back within just a couple of weeks. It's like nothing to you as a staked out hex again. And without thinking, I would have donated that towards a Kareem situation like this. But now at the prices where we are, 100,000 hex isn't helping him at all. It took away our options to help with situations like this. It took away our options to help fund new exciting projects on Pulse Chain. that's how liquid loans, for example, got so much money in their sacrifices, because back then 100,000 hex, that was like nothing to us. Of course,
It's a
you
valid
can
point.
donate that, which is 10 grand worth, to liquid loans. That wasn't really a big dip to your whole hex portfolio, but right now it would be. So you see, and that is what we're in right now. So it's kind of these whales' fault who let that happen. These few people who extracted millions and millions of dollars from the community at the top, and that's what's messing us up. Like, to put Kareem out of jail, only 3 or 4 squid hexagons would need to get together and send that over. It would be nothing. And I think that is a serious problem.
Or he would have had it
People
himself.
don't understand. Oh, he had himself.
Yeah.
People don't understand the gravity of this, still don't get it. Now we can't pump it back up either because we didn't sell at the top. So we're screwed up, and this will take very, very long to recover.
Or one
If
big
ever-
bull market, which we are hoping for. One more idea. DJ's right. I think that we've got our heads though stuck so far in the sand from these Peter's definitely suffering from PTSD from all the sacrifices and scams and everything. DJ
And I get that
Cryptomatic.
too, of course.
No, but DJ Cryptomatic brings a good point, and that is it would only take 3 or 4 of these big mastodons in our community to just simply make it go away. But let's stop for a moment, and if I may see the middle ground, Hex Monkey, what about this as a quick campaign, emergency campaign? It's the down market, and we got a brother in serious bind. Nobody wants to shoulder the responsibility in a down market of EESing or moving money around for what they think is a loan. But if as a community, if we're very strong and we're widespread and we're all cohesive, we understand the plight of a brother, what would $10 a person do? Well, we only got to do 200 grand. You know how many people that is, right?
Yeah, it
What
won't
about
be
20?
200, but yeah.
Well, okay,
Let's do
let's say it's 20. Let's say it's between 20 and 50. You can do that with the amount of people that we have giving $10 each. 10
Oh, yeah,
bucks.
$10, $100. If a bunch of
Yeah.
people do it, it's solved.
But not
Sure.
the 100. No, not the $100. Let's say everyone on this day coming up, right? Once we find out the total, $10 and no more from even the biggest people, all shouldering equally. Everyone can manage $10 in this thing of ours. If you can't,
Yeah.
you can't pay gas. If you can't pay gas, you're not in this thing. So I'm saying that if we lower that and increase the volume of people contributing, we got this licked, and it's no skin off your nose. It's not even a loan. It's helping the brother out that's going to come back, and you've looked out for him, and you've done a great job as a community.
Like for the
That's
price
what
of
I
a super
propose.
chat.
Yeah. I propose that. Like $10. That's it. No more of this. I've come and I've made it go away, and I'm the whale, and I did 50 grand, and look at me, I'm doing this for self-promotion or whatever. Fuck that shit. Let's do this as a community equally.
All right, so let's critique Papa B here. I don't think enough people like Kareem. I don't think enough people, I don't know, are morally sane to give $10 worth to the donation address, which is the Dream account EBB. I don't think that this plan could actually work. Back to what DJ Crypto was saying earlier, he was just basically saying, like, it just sucks that this issue wasn't raised while, or this occurrence didn't happen while we were higher on the chart, and instead we have been sold down so much lower in this bear market. And he brings up the point of, like, we're a very giving group of people whenever it is that our crypto is doing very well. But once it dips, then we're holding on to, like, everything that we have, and we don't necessarily want to spend. And the whole, like, tricking us into being a part of your fundraiser happened during Liquid Loans sacrifice. So the Liquid Loan sacrifice was going on right after and overlapping the Pulse Chain Richard Hart sacrifice. And at that point, we Hexicans had a lot of value, a lot of US dollar value inside of our Hex. Hex was at a high price at that point. And a lot of people thought that they were just going to capitalize on diversifying their value, like what is it, like exponential? Like I just did 100x with Hex, and then now with Liquid Loans I might be able to do another 100x. Oh my gosh, that would exponentially put me to a higher wealth bracket. I know a lot of folks were really excited about Liquid Loans, and that's why it was one of the largest, if not the largest, sacrifice thing. I've been told it was something like $50 million had gone to Liquid Loans. That's a ton, guys. At that whole time, I felt like I wasn't going to take chances with people who were not Richard Hart, and luckily I didn't. I heard that Liquid Loans turned out terribly. I am not firsthand acquainted with any of those people, and I know that they've had representatives from like they've hired people after they've become popular inside of our Pulse Chain community in order to try to heal the wounds or blow over some of the downfalls that they've done for us. So in this same breath, I want to say that I'm glad that Richard Hart did the Pulse Chain sacrifice when he did, because that made it to where I did take some of my Hex values, some of my exponential gains, and put them into Pulse Chain that then pegged it to that certain dollar value in Pulse Chain that then I then took advantage of whenever Pulse Chain was released, and I had my points and then was rewarded coins because of it. So I'm thankful for that time period, to tell you the truth. And people who did not ladder out stakes from the beginning, they didn't know that Pulse Chain was going to be created from the very, very beginning, like the very first Hexicans who were making stakes, and the guys who wanted to make sure that they had T-shares into the far, far future. A lot of them just put, almost like the Dream account, just put these large, long stakes, but didn't put the rungs of the ladder leading up to it. I was different. I did put the rungs of the ladder, and therefore I was interacting with unstaking, restaking, and deciding what I wanted to do with the liquidity that came available. So my procedure is to have a stake come out every spring and fall. And it was summer, I believe, whenever Pulse Chain had come out. So I had Liquid Hex available to then sacrifice whenever it was that we were at the height of a market, right? I didn't know that it was going to work out the way that it did. I didn't know that we were at the height of the market. Like I definitely rode Hex back down. But some of these other people, they didn't have those laddered stakes, and they didn't have the liquidity to donate or to sacrifice with into the Pulse Chain sacrifice. And so they did not have the capability of pegging their Hex value, their 100x or 1000x or whatever they experienced there inside the Pulse Chain system sacrifice. I hope this makes sense. Whenever it is that I go off on these tangents every once in a while, like a few people will just shave off the live stream. They're just like, I don't want to talk about you and your experiences. Let's see. Hexican Lost in Asia is in the comments. he's critiquing Kareem and being in the clubs. You're correct. It wouldn't be based on principles. I wouldn't base it on principles. Dude was in the club at 10K tables in Miami last year. So I guess what he's referring to is how Hex Monkey is saying, hey, it's our moral obligation to help this person out, but yet we're at a bear and people are less likely, like what DJ was saying, we're less likely to be giving. He follows up, Hexagon Lost in Asia follows up and says, I would not donate to Papa's plan. Okay. All right. So the $10, I appreciate you chiming in there. If you check out my last stream that I did about this subject, and I've got all of them grouped, by the way, in a playlist called Prison in Paradise. Check out the last, if you were to check out the last stream, I'll tell you about it right now. I have it to where, well, at some point, Kareem admitted to spending $60,000 a month on his lifestyle there in Miami. So his apartment plus his bottle service plus his private cabanas or whatever, and just he rubbed shoulders with some very, very wealthy people and just partied his ass off. $60,000 a month lifestyle. He did that for a few months and realized this is not sustainable. So then he brought it down to $40,000 a month. And then he says that he took it down to 30 and then down to like 15 and 10. And so he was comfortable at $15,000 and $10,000 a month lifestyle. Very interesting. Shall we continue and hear whatever it is Papa B is about to say?
$10 doesn't hurt anybody. But
Yeah,
broadcast
very
it like
sound
that.
idea.
Well,
it's
broadcast
kind
it
of-
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to coordinate it like that. I think leaving it open, hey, anything helps, and what you can afford, not more than what you could, that's almost
But
the equivalent of that.
It's
But I get
not.
what you're
It's
saying.
not. It's not. Look, if somebody's having a heart attack and they're on the floor, right, or they're on the sidewalk, what's the rule? People collect and they come and look to see if what they can do, or they're just curious and they're sitting and they're taking the oxygen away from the person that needs to fucking recover. The person that jumps to them to give, CPR or to do whatever from a medical perspective, what do? Everybody back the fuck up. And then they got to point to somebody and give them a directive. You call 911. You go and get me something to put under his head. You've got to point to somebody and give them a directive. If you leave it out there, give generously, it sounds like a scam. And then you get Peter going down his fucking well of negativity. So that's what I'm saying. It's like if somebody stands up and says, here's the fucking address. If you want to help Kareem, give $10, no more, no less. Just $10 in stables or whatever the fuck they'll accept. And then boom, nobody has to EES for that. Everybody knows what the thing is. You got some spare ETH sitting around. You can transfer to whatever. If he accepts ETH, it's that dollar spot. Make sure it's 10, and then you're off the hook. You've done your good deed for the day. Community is strong. One big fist that comes down and squashes the problem. My issue is, after this is over, we're going to have to lecture people again on how to fucking be smart and know how much you have at stake in your own bank account and your own assets that you can get onto them whenever you fucking leave your country, and never, ever, ever, I don't care how much of a fucking gun enthusiast you are, never pick up any goddamn contraband in any goddamn foreign country where you don't have representation. End of story. Does that sound like a plan, Hex Monkey?
Yes, it does. I like it, which is to turn this into a positive lesson later on once the storm is passed. Absolutely. And
But
knowing Kareem, he'll hop on board and be happy to be the poster child. Like, don't be like me. I didn't plan ahead.
Well,
I spent too much, etc.
I think I propose this. Okay. I propose this. When, and I'm not saying if, I'm saying when we as a community contribute to Kareem getting out of the dungeon that he's in right now, right? that he becomes the active, not role model. That's not enough. He's got to become the active coordinator to be the fucking shepherd in this community for anybody that fucks up like him. That's my $10 worth. I think that that's a great value to our community. We spend $10 each. We acquire somebody who's going to look out for anybody who's going abroad saying, hey, is this the Kareem hotline? Yes, it is. How are you doing? Kareem, I'm thinking about going to Guadalajara. Excellent. Great place. I'm packing like a lot of weed. Can I do that? Because I want to be high in Guadalajara. No, you shouldn't do that. Why not, man? Come on, be cool. Let me tell you my story. And then we convert and we look out for each other. Because again, we're all fucking connected. We're all, rock face climbing on freaking Half Dome. And we're all connected by one sinew that is this community. The price, if you fall, we all fall. Maddie's here. Hey, Maddie. How you doing?
Yeah, I think you just nailed it, especially at the end there, Papa. Like, that's why this matters. It's because for better or for worse, this impacts all of us. Therefore, not like we're responsible for it. He's responsible for his actions, but it would behoove us to make the best of what has happened and turn it around, as you've just outlined. And so if we wanted to do hey, everybody can afford $10. Come on, everyone, just do that. That would be, I guess John's the organizer, so we could float that idea to him.
Hexkin in Asia says, ha ha ha, spoke too soon. That's a great idea. Kareem could be the new get out of jail officer. I'd donate to something like that. Well, it's the idea was just floated of how that would be what he would be if he still hung around in our community. If he made an example out of himself and, decided to put these experiences on his shoulders. Now, keep in mind, Kareem has been pretty sparse. His showing in this community has been pretty sparse for the last 2 years. Whenever I showed the other day, whenever he was on Maddie's thing and talking about himself, Maddie came, like it was him and K4K and Black Hexakin, and some, I guess that was there was one more person that I'm forgetting. Gosh darn it, why did I forget the person? Oh, Lit Gaines. Okay. So the 4 of them were on screen during Maddie's thing. And that's where I heard that Kareem had this high expensive lifestyle. Now then Maddie comes on screen and to wrap everything up and say, hey, thank you for speaking during this hour. It was great to have you guys there. And Maddie and Kareem are basically connecting eyes, and Maddie's just like, I miss you being around. Could we have you come back every month or every 2 months or something like that? Like come back in a month and get back involved and stuff. And Kareem's just like, yeah, I could do that, and sort of like passively, almost telling you with his body language, I'm not really interested in that. Like Kareem, he's turned the corner on who he is from the past, and I don't know what the new Kareem is and how he's gonna brand himself. Some people admire Kareem for never launching a coin of his own. I don't know if y'all have thought about that, but we've had so many people creating a project of their own and trying to be the influencer that gets the Hexakin community into their new coin. Well, I personally, whenever I'm thinking about it right now, it's like, okay, well, maybe all those people who created coins, they didn't make enough off of Hex and Hedron scraping and communist token scraping. And what I mean by scraping is those were kind of dividends that were given to the Hex stakers, both of those tokens, and they held a value. At one point, there was a height in their markets, in their charts, where you could take what was given to you and just completely cash it out and go fund your life just fine. Because after the up wave, the peak of Hex, as it was coming down, there were peaks in Hedron, and then there was a release of this new communist thing that then had its peak, much lower, but still it put thousands of dollars in your pocket if you were a Hexagon staker. So now that I'm thinking about it live on stream, I think that Kareem didn't need to, if he was that selfish to want to make funds in that way of maybe using his influence to get people separated with their money, he didn't have to do that because he was completely set up with the stakes that he had already had, plus the dividends. And then there's all this speculation of, there's probably other wallets that we don't know about that are holding ETH from his past life in ETH whenever he first got into crypto. I mean, that's he was on Ethereum in order to witness, in like, it was so easy for him to get into Hex in the beginning because he was already into Ethereum. And I remember the first stream of him being on, it was, I think, something that Maddie coordinated, and Richard was on there as well. And so Kareem came early in order to, and was like telling himself, I'm going to talk to Richard Hart on this stream. And so he hung around for like 2 hours in order for it to happen. And I remember how he was about to get rotated out off the stream, and he spoke up and said, "No, I came here tonight to talk to Richard, and I'm not going to leave until I talk to Richard." It was something that, is very permanent in your mind. And I don't know if at that point we knew how much of a staker he was. I forget when it was that he publicly said, I own this Dream account, or I forget when it was that the wording, the label of Dream account came around. Yeah. So those are all my thoughts for the moment. Let's continue with this. And once again, like, we're at 2 hours and 42 minutes. That's pretty long stream, but thanks for being here. And I hope I'm doing an okay job.
Right. Or we're pretty good about floating shitcoins. Why don't we create a shitcoin and give a liquidity pool, and instantly you can have something for your money, right? That can be spun up in 5 minutes. My point is $10 doesn't hurt anybody.
Right.
There's no questions asked after that, no expectations other than maybe it's contributing to somebody's freedom.
I mean, people can be all critic about Kareem or whatever, but remember again, it's a Caribbean jail, which sucks on these islands, and he is not an American citizen. So as we said earlier, the US Embassy isn't going to help him. And I don't know if a Central African small country that he's from does he actually have representation there, or this could be a nightmare to fly somebody in from somewhere else. So he might really be in a terrible spot.
No, it's a bad spot. He's a U.S. person, but he's not a U.S. citizen.
No.
And the State Department washes their hands of that. But the Central African country, you're expecting them to even respond at all?
These countries are also known to, be like.
Yeah, but the more direct approach is to, if you're going to grease a palm, you grease a palm locally. You don't go to your own country and say, could you send an official by jet stat to come and, talk to these guys?
Even that, how do you organize all that? So it's not that easy. It's not that straightforward. And he is in this spot right now. So I definitely.
I'm going to be a real asshole this whole show.
Be an asshole.
Do we know that dead money will help him?
No. You don't. That's why $10 is worth the risk. But
We really
20,000 is
Yeah,
not
I can maybe jump on board of the $10.
good.
knows?
It converts even
yeah,
even the
let's-
Peters will to give $10. Nice.
And let's
You-
jump on the Steph train. I mean,
don't. Yes.
Steph should have a lot of money. If
Sure,
if
he
Oh
I'm
has.
yeah,
correctly,
Steph.
correct.
Right.
But maybe they parted
I
on
mean,
bad terms.
he sold a lot of tops. If I know, if it's all true that I heard. I mean, yeah. And
Yeah.
how is Stakrab doing? I mean, there are some people that got fucked over through Stakrab.
I've got a lot of onboards
I mean-
that or onboards of onboards of friends, I should say, not my onboards, but onboards of
let's not
friends that are still
mention
trying to
Stakrab.
figure that out. Yeah. But yeah, he's got deep pockets though. Steph and Firebun. If there's any kind of anything there, that would be the first on the speed dial, I think. If there's any
Or maybe
relationship
they
left.
didn't-
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe they didn't part on good terms.
Yeah,
you know.
but letting your
Well,
previous
yeah.
co-employee or coworker or whatever the fuck you call them rot in prison, that sounds like the oh wait a
But
minute.
I
I
mean-
forgot Steph is French, of course. Happy Olympics.
Yeah, did he delete all his tweets about Hex after Richard got the SEC troubles? Oh god damn it!
Hmm.
Sounds like a coward there.
I don't know if that's an option. I don't know.
But yeah, that's indeed the task at hand, is to help him if we can avoid that worst case scenario. Not absolve him of all responsibility and consequences. You know that. he's gonna have
Let's find out more.
Well,
I would say. We
Yeah.
I
need
want to pay I want to pay back
Kurkovsky
in
to jump on
support.
a ship, sail down there, took a video of Karim from behind the jail bars. Then maybe we can speak about it.
And then check this out. I'll take it one step further. If he takes
I
a
mean,
ship down
because,
there, right, from PR, right, goes over there, says, "Hey, how you doing?" Anybody that could possibly do that and forward the community the funds that are required to get him out, and then talk about doing whatever, that would speed things up. So somebody goes and lays out the money and then passes the hat and says, could somebody kind of start to repay me? We just need to get him out of jail. That was a key thing, is every minute you're in jail, you're in effective physical peril, right? So Hex Monkey, if it helps, these are the stupid reflections of uninformed people.
Yes.
And the only reason that we
Don't
can
have enough
afford to
information. That's the
be so
problem, I think.
stupid now, the only reason we can afford this time to discuss this is because it's that calm, right? We don't have the number yet. We don't know what. We just know the basic mechanics that he'll accept whatever. We don't know how much to donate. We don't know whatever direction or how it's going to help. We can have these reflections. But if he was, right now, we have all that information, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It would just simply be acting. Just wanted to tell you that. People can sit around and talk about the guy that's had the heart attack on the floor,
I agree on that.
but if he's down and someone's directing you, it's go time. This is not go time yet, is what I'm saying. So I apologize to the audience and apologize to Kareem that we seem to be making light of the situation. It's a very serious situation. But given all of the small, unfocused bits of the whole thing that we have right now, we're on waiting mode to hear how much and when.
Yeah.
And what's the
100%
next
and
step?
Totally understandable. I went through what you were calling the dumb reflections yesterday for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. And just hopefully
Yeah.
everybody can breathe and give it a little bit
But
of time.
what Hex Market, what you're trying to do is raise awareness for the situation, and I hope we help with the show that at least people are, with the little information that we could tell, aware of what's going on. And if you feel for Kareem, if you can picture yourself in the trouble that he is in, then you might want to donate. If you don't and you think, no, this is all fake and he is a rich guy and should handle this by himself, then don't donate, but there might be people who are, willing to help him at least get out of the worst of the worst, to then for him to enable him to deal with the situation. But that's maybe a good summary.
All right, so that's basically the end of that stream. I think that they did a pretty good job. Of course, there was the drama from the interactions, but it was great. Like, it's very entertaining to see that this affects people. You know, Hex Monkey very passionate about getting this guy out of the hole in a dirty Caribbean prison situation. But on the light side, Kareem said that the food wasn't that bad. So that's episode 79 called Free Kareem with Hex Monkey 369. And you know, everybody on the screen here is basically a Hex OG. I have met Hex Monkey in Vegas in person before. I forget if DJ Crypto came to Vegas and I met him. I'm not sure. Okay, so something that came to mind for me, it's been a long time since I've thought about this, but just I'm actually I think it's really cool that Peter there had the Hex logo with What the Hex logo that they had up in the corner. Let me show that again. So this logo that they have up in the top right,
Can we touch on
that was on Peter's shirt. And so that made me think of how hexdays.com has created they've created a marketplace for t-shirts. And the idea is that they want a t-shirt design for every day of the first 5555 days of Hex. So I was thinking, well, shouldn't you have an event on each of the days? Wouldn't that be cool if each of these t-shirt designs was applied to a specific day that it related, the design related to an event that happened on that day? So now I'm starting to think that it would be pretty neat if there was a free Kareem and a Kareem in jail situation, you know, on a shirt. Just making it kind of like, I might be a little bit racist for thinking this, you know, a darker skinned guy inside of a Caribbean prison on a Caribbean island, where it's flat and white with white walls, adobe or stucco-ish, whatever, concrete. For some reason that just popped in my head. So I don't know what days that would be, but they calculate the days based on the day number, not the date. So it would be what day are we in now? Like 1300, you know, day 1300 in our system. So that came, and then also an idea that I wrote down for questions to ask Yoon whenever we do the space. I thought about asking, like, this person who gave $10,000 worth of ETH not too long ago. So like 3 days ago, $10,000 was donated to the effort. They put it in there with Railgun, which is kind of like a Tornado Cash masking agent on the blockchain. So you don't know where it came from. You can't track the wallet. I wonder if that person stayed anonymous. Not only did they donate anonymously on the blockchain, but did they tell Yoon, hey, that was me and I didn't mean for it to be a loan. Instead, that was a donation? Or was it a loan and they're expecting payment back? And I also wonder the same thing about that large wallet that we spotted that did the $25,000 donation. You know, the wallet that has $5 million inside of the PulseX farms, and also has $7.3 million worth of crypto sitting in it right now. I don't know if the farming 5 million is calculated as a part of that 7.3 million. That would be a much smaller wallet than what I was initially thinking. Because right now I'm thinking that's a $12.3 million wallet, but maybe it might be that 7.3 was the overall total. I'm not sure. I was using dbank.com to look at that wallet. I liked the way that they showed transactions. That was fun. Thank you, Facing Reality, for telling me about dbank recently. I mentioned I was struggling for ways to look at wallets, and he mentioned it in the comments. Okay, so Facing Reality just tells me now if it was dbank, then yes, it was the total. So sweet. So we know that's a 7.375 million in that wallet. So I was wondering whether that was also a loan, the 25,000, or and or if it stays anonymous. So these are just kind of like little prodding questions of little things that I've thought about. So there's my list, and it will wait till the next time we see each other again. I'm Eco Builder inside the Hex community. I have never shilled bullshit, and Richard has retweeted my shit every once in a while whenever I send out mail from this Twitter account or from this webpage. You can connect to my Twitter account. That's my Twitter. This is a webpage that I created because I've got tons of printed off stuff to allow you to have the resources, tools at your fingertips whenever it is that you're talking to people out in public about Hex token. You know, like I come from an architecture background, so I have been taught how to do graphics and stuff, and I understand getting things printed. So I've created materials. They're free, absolutely free to distribute to you guys. And it does a number whenever you have something waiting in your hand or in your wallet or in your pocket to have conversations with people at the supermarket or, you know, your neighbors or your friends. Like you could send them a letter and a piece of mail, and they could start learning about blockchain. And you know, the sooner is how I think about these things. The sooner they know, the sooner they'll start to accept that sort of thing. Have you noticed all of the celebrities who are now saying, like, at first I didn't understand Bitcoin and now I understand it? I mean, even Peter Schiff is talking shit about ETFs right now and saying that that's not true crypto. Wow, Peter Schiff, you get it. You get it. That's paper representation of crypto. You get it. So one of the things that we teach in this community is self-custody. Bring the coins off of the exchanges back into your wallets. That way, if anything bad happens over there in those exchanges, that you are not affected. All right. So thank you guys so much. Facing Reality is giving me praise for these hard cards that I sent him. I printed off some hard cards from one of our guys. That's, what is his name? Oh, now I'm getting a blank, but I've worked with him so many times on getting stuff printed off. My goodness. Okay, so one of our guys in the community, he does graphics and printing, and I got him to print off all sorts of things. Hexakin in Asia says, thanks for the work. You're very welcome. I'm, like I say, I'm a long-term Hexakin, so it's kind of my job to do what I can inside the community because Hex has helped me out so much. And then here in the next bull, you know, we'll have a new flow of more people, and we'll be able to just show them, hey, these are the ropes that exist. And I try to be very, very vocal about what exists whenever people come in and start trying to like set up new infrastructure. And it's like, oh, that guy already did that. You know, it may just be one guy, but he actually started that to where it's almost done already, or there's a small amount of framework already there to continue to work on. Philip Banks is the guy that I was searching for his name. Philip Banks. He's the printer, and he was the initial printer for the hex postcards. And then an example, while I'm already rambling, an example of a time where infrastructure has already been set up. Besides postcards, we can do any postcard that you would like, and you can also become a part of our team and persuade us to do your designs. Whenever Will Stevens with the DGen Roundtable came into our community, he came into some of the groups in Telegrams and asked, like, hey, is there anybody who I want to create a chat, a Telegram chat only for meetups. And we were like, oh, well, here, like over in the Texas group, we've got your pal Vic, Hex Fan Network. He had created a spreadsheet of all the groups on Telegram and the admins of them, and often they are local areas. Like if there's Hex Japan, Hex Germany, Hex Texas, Hex Northwest, there's all these different groups that then coordinate meetups every once in a while, because they're in the vicinities, right? So that was an example of how, like, Will wanted to come in and wanted to start something, and it's like, well, start reaching out to all these people, and here's a list of people. And so, like, he praised us for like 2 months straight, how we cut his time in investigation and stuff. And another person would be DOS Bomb. DOS Bomb has created a Google filing system situation where he's got folders for memes, and he's got folders for advertisement, and folders for stickers and car decals. He's got all these different folders to then share you access to. So why reinvent the wheel, right? Like, often the people who get all the light in this community are the people who are the influencers that are supposedly affecting the price, right? But there's so many people who are early Hexicans who are holding down the fort and, like I say, working on this infrastructure stuff. If you're new here, I hope you were able to deal with all of my stuff, like my rambling, because dang, I rambled today, and I mean, this live stream's going on for 3 hours. But like I said, I just wanted to get the stuff off of my desk, these presentations off of my desk. Otherwise I would have made 2 live streams, but we are anticipating that we're going to have some either audio with Yoon inside of Twitter Spaces later today, or we are going to be able to have it to where Kareem's going to be on some stream somewhere, and then we'll come on here and talk about it. All right, so Michelle is in the comments saying, hello, Hexicans. And welcome, Michelle. And I'm about to exit. This candle has gone from about half a candle down to almost nothing. Oh my goodness, it's in the tray now. Y'all be good. And like I said, there's 4 other videos before this in order to set the setting of where it is that we are right now. And Kareem has all the money that he needs, and he might need a little bit more money to live off of with food and stuff, but hopefully he doesn't get the best hotel while he's over there. Hopefully he gets the one across from the airport that's kind of just a hole in the wall. All right, everybody be good. Have a great day or night, and I'll see you later. Cheers.